Ford Video Guy Studio in Salina, Kansas, it's McArthur Live with Tim Bartz and Sarah Davis. For all the information on ordering and production, Ford news, recalls, debunking all the fake news on social media, and whatever's on their mind, here's your hosts, Tim and Sarah. Welcome in. Episode 153, I believe. Now I'm like keeping track because when we're waiting to get to 156, which that'll be 3 years. Anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying and having a good day. I'm back off of vacation, but before we get going too far, don't forget this can be recorded as a podcast, so you might be listening to the podcast. If you can watch it over on YouTube, 7 p.m. Central every Tuesday night, or you might be watching this on YouTube and you want to listen to the podcast, which is over on your favorite streaming podcast platforms. There's that.
You got it?
Yep, I think so. All right, so let's see. Been a busy course, I think, since the last live stream. I haven't done a lot. First day back off of vacation.
It's been busy.
You guys been busy? Yeah. Sarah and Jeff took care of everything. I heard no complaints or anything, so that's awesome. So everything was taken care of while I was gone, but did have some email catching up to do, which I still have yet to do, which I'm hoping to do maybe tomorrow.
Maybe
I'll have some downtime tomorrow. So pretty good week though.
Yeah.
So I had a fun, man. It was a blast. It was nice and relaxing. We of course went on vacation. For those that haven't followed us in the last couple weeks, wife and I went on vacation to Colorado, Buena Vista. We went to Supercell. Sarah and I did last September and had a blast. And your mom didn't get a chance to go.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to take her out and take her on some of the trails that we visited there. And that's pretty much the same trails that we hit. Mm-hmm. We actually did Cumberland Pass, which we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But took the camper. So we're, second trip with the camper. And every time we're learning some things about it. We actually used the water this time. Did dishes and stuff and used the water. And realized that it's a very small gray tank, so any of your water that you wash down that's not, of course we don't have any kind of a toilet or anything, is gray water, for those of you who don't RV, and so it gets full, you have to empty that, and ours gets full pretty fast. So we've learned that we're going to need to have a 2-hose setup, because you can actually set up a hose that goes right into, if you have it. A lot of campsites don't like you draining the gray water, even though it's just like, for us it's just soap and water, but shouldn't be bad for the ground, but some places don't like that, putting that right into the ground. So we'll have to come up with a hose system and I guess look for that. But anyway, so not a big gray tank. So, but we got the hot water working for the first time because we hadn't used the water, and so we figured that system out, and we had a blast. But had some fun because we traveled down there on Thursday. Pretty much went on the trails Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and came back Monday, and had some, we don't really usually, we find a restaurant. We go someplace where there's a town. And so we ate out at the restaurants most nights. Not Pitkin. We went to Salina. And I had to make sure I said that right. Salina. And we ate at a good pizza place there, Moonlight. So if you're ever in that area, Moonlight pizza, that was really good. And we shared a gluten-free pizza. So because your mom, mom's gluten-free. For those who didn't know, she's gluten-free. So they had a gluten-free pizza crust that is really good. And in fact, she had pizza twice while we were there. And another place, their crust was about the same. And they're like, you guys must be getting your pizza crust the same place. There's some place in Denver that makes really good pizza dough that they get it from. But really good. And I said, you know what? There's no reason for us to get pizzas, and then we'll have all this left over that we're not going to eat. So I'll just eat gluten-free with you and we'll just share it. And it was good. I mean,
I have found more and more the gluten-free industry is getting better and better.
One of the things I found on Buena Vista is most of the restaurants have a vegan gluten-free option, and about every restaurant down there, because they're about eating healthy and being healthy. lot of hikers and people that go rafting, canoeing.
Yeah.
That's really an outdoor lifestyle. And so, yeah, but anyway, so yeah, had a blast. Ate out about each night. Buena Vista as well. We ate at the Crave one night. Hard to get into because they were very busy because they're very good. We ate there. Remember?
Yeah.
When I had the pasta and you had the pizza. Right?
Yeah.
So that's where she had the other pizza. But had fun.
I gotta say that was a good pizza.
So it was really nice to just kind of wake up. We'd wake up pretty early. You know, again, we don't have a bathroom in the camper, so we'll, you know, hey, I got to go to the bathroom. So we both get out, and we both walk to the bathhouse, go to the bathroom, and then we're kind of up and watch one morning, watch the sunrise and drink some coffee, have breakfast, and then go get showered up. Then we get out on the trail at 9:30 and enjoy the trails all day and a blast. We'll talk more about that later. And I got some photos. We hit 10 Cut Pass like we did. We then the second day we were planning to do Napoleon Pass, and we missed the turn just outside of 10 Cup. I thought we needed to keep going, and we missed it, and we ended up on Cumberland Pass instead, which was the view at top of Cumberland Pass, in my opinion, is better than any of them. I mean, it was beautiful. All three of the peaks that we went to were 12,000 feet. And then Hancock Pass the second day, which is much more difficult to get up there. And but it was fun. It was Barb pretty much drove the whole way up, so on the trail, even through the hard stuff. And she had me do a little section where there's just a big drop there that makes her a little nervous. So I drove a little bit of that, but then she got back in and finished it up to the top, and she did about 99% of that trail.
Yeah. 10 Cup's the one that I drove, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and even sometimes early, you know, that they say those trails can change, you know, every year, and even different
during
months.
The season.
Yeah. So July, it can be not much different than in September when they've been, you know, people have been driving them for 2-3 months.
Yeah.
So
July
is pretty early.
By September.
I'm gonna say July is pretty early, but I don't Hancock. There's that section there where it was not. I don't know. Maybe it's because there were people in front of us and we just followed where they went. And I will say this: when we went last year, I didn't have the lift from the suspension that I have now.
That's right.
And wow, did it make a difference?
Less bumps.
Because there's a lot of spots where I'm like, oh no, we're gonna hit here. Nope, no hit. It did not hit at all. I don't think on that one.
Yeah.
So pretty fun. So we'll talk more about that in a little bit. We did actually, you know what? Maybe I can show that now.
We went to the beach.
Yeah. What did you do?
We went to the lake with the boys, and that was me and my best friends. We took the boys to the lake and their kids to the lake and had fun. Theo army crawls through the sand. Like, I was like, come on, you can't rush off to the water without your life jacket. And he plopped himself down and started army crawling. Like, if I don't get up, she won't see me. And then he gets certain distance away, stand up and take off. Of course, it's not very fast in the sand. But, and then after that, we went to the Canopolis Drive-In and saw Twisters. We saw Twisters.
Is it the new one?
Yes.
Oh, that's what's great about Canopolis Drive-In is they'll get the stuff to the movies that are out now. That's
so what they did is they did a Twisters and a surprise movie, and the people that guessed correctly got free tickets to the movie theater, or to the drive-in.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, it has this percentage of Rotten Tomatoes, like this crowd percentage of Rotten Tomatoes, it has to be above 90%, and this and this, and one of these is, two of these things are completely not related to the movie. One of them was I wanted a turtle when I was younger. I guessed one movie, but then Will's like, it's gonna be dinosaurs. It's gonna be Jurassic Park. Who's the first Jurassic Park? He guessed it. Of course, I didn't post it, but yeah, he guessed it. I was like, oh, wow, yep. We didn't stay because both were passed out, but we got to see the first Twisters.
Because you start it when it gets dark. Now, so the first one starts at like 9:30, right?
9:30.
So if you stay for both of them, it's like 2 o'clock when you get home.
Now, I will say we were parked right next to a Bronco. They took their top off, so they had their speakers turned up. Crap. I'm sorry. I do not like the Bronco speakers.
So they were running the audio through the stereo system. Yeah.
And it was cutting.
Yeah.
The bass kept cutting in and out. Anytime they had really loud bass, it would cut in and out.
So they didn't have the high Lux package.
It's a Big Bend. No, Outer Banks. It was an Outer Banks that had been lifted.
That's funny.
It was not fun. I did not. It would turn off, and you could hear the audio from the movie from other speakers.
Yeah.
And it was okay. It wasn't like in our ears super loud, but it was okay. You could hear it. I kept thinking, okay, please leave it off this time. Please leave it off this time. I don't need the crackling. I'm sorry, but and there is a way to fix it. Lebo's like, I almost went over there to ask if I could show him how to turn the bass down and your treble up so then it could help balance that a little bit, but he didn't.
Speaking of lakes, we found a lake. So I did post this. I did post this on my Ford Video Guide channel. If you check that out, or my Instagram. Well, let's watch a little bit. We actually found, so there's on Tin Cup Pass. If you go up and then back down into Tin Cup, if you start at St. Elmo and go down into Tin Cup, or if you go the other way, you got to go around this lake called Mirror Lake. Depending on the season, I kind of figured there might be some water over there. The water goes over the road, which goes on the very outside of the lake, and because of all the drain off from the mountains, from the snow and everything. In July, it's usually going over. I actually asked around. I said, "Hey, how is it going to be very deep?" And they said, "Oh, you should be good to be able to go around it." And so I said, "Okay." Well, we got to the top, and a lot of them that had come from that way said, "You're going to have some fun." I'm like, "Oh, really?" They said, "You should be fine." I mean, for us, it was coming into the side by side. It was coming into the footwells, getting their footwells wet. They said, "But with your lift, you shouldn't have any issues." So here is us going over that for you. Those that listen to the podcast,
did not go over that. You went through
it. Yeah, those listening to the podcast, you'll probably not see any of that because you won't see this. So we'll just omit this from our podcast. But just to let you know, we went. I'll recap it here at the end of the video. I don't know if they can hear the audio on it. I assume so, but I don't know. So in case you guys can't, I don't know if you can hear the audio or not, but I can actually through there, most of that, except for that section right there where it's muddy, I can see the road below me. And we've been there before. We drove that, so I knew where the road was. You just got to stay close to the bank, and you'll be on the road. It just goes along there. So a lot of people asked about that, and I did watch side by sides because some people asked, hey, did you check the water level? I did by watching the other side by sides come through that. So I knew how deep it was, and I knew that we should be okay. I think it came up to our bumpers, bottom of our door. So I think it covered pretty much the bottom of the Bronco. But it didn't, just pretty much covered up the wheels. But it is pretty deep. So, yeah, there you go. That was pretty fun. And we do have another section that we did. There's two sections that's underwater.
Was Mom driving?
No, I was driving this. She drove up, and then I drove down. So, because she was driving more than I was off road. But all right. Where's this at? Give me a second. Once it stopped, it kicked it out. There we go. So this is the second section, and there's actually a side-by-side up there that struggled getting through a little bit. So we waited on them before we started the pass. This in here was actually not as deep, but it was rougher terrain. Yeah. In fact, we heard the second day there's a rock right there. I actually missed. I think that's the rock that somebody punctured a tire and had to be winched out. Because I actually joked about that right about here in the car. I'm like, well, I do have a winch. She's like, don't say that. Don't say that.
That's what it's there for.
But I'm like, yeah, But again, stay right. You're on the road. And we've been there before, so we knew where the road was. And you can see the different spot. That's the grass, kind of the road starts kind of there, so you knew kind of where that road was. Now there we couldn't really see the road, but I knew I just followed the side where the side by side went.
Yeah.
And that was good. But there you go. But all fun. But yeah, there we go. We had that. So that was our water crossing. So um yeah, the camera was on the roof, and I actually have a GoPro extension on it, and it kind of moves around on some of the other trails. That one has stayed steady because that just means that I just drove that good. Anyway, Jack said that, but yeah, had a blast. Had a lot of trails. Hancock Pass, Tin Cup, and Cumberland Pass with 3 we went on. So we got to see the Continental Divide on three places, because we also did Cottonwood Pass, which is paved. So if you want to go to Continental Divide somewhere, you can do Cumberland Pass. Plus, I think there's some others in Colorado. So we technically hit 4 summits and passes that we got to the top. All of them about 12,000 feet, a little more. So, but man, it was just the views up there. I think I will say this: Cumberland Pass probably had the best views. I don't know if I said that earlier or not, but that had some of the best views of all of them. And that one, about any 4x4 can go on that one. There's really not. It's not really that difficult. It's a lot easier than Tin Cup. That's really how people get from Pitkin to Tin Cup, is taking Cumberland Pass. And you'll see a lot of the kids from Pitkin that have side by side. You go in that town. We didn't go there when we went, but everybody in the town has their regular vehicle parked in the garage, and they all have side by sides, and that's how they drive around town. And they're all like, I noticed the kids, we like passed them coming down. They were going up, and then pretty soon we turned around, we went back, and started to go back that way, and they were coming back. So you can tell they just, for fun, the kids are just getting the side by sides, and they go up to the top of that and come down, and they have a lot of fun on that one. And so it's not really difficult. It's rough if you don't have something like a Bronco or something like that, but about any 4x4 can go up that. You don't need a lot of clearance, and you can see beautiful views up there. Man, actually, I think I got an image of one. I want to show the view of that, actually.
Now, did you have trouble breathing at the altitude?
Yes, I did.
You did?
We noticed that when we went to Pikes Peak, remember?
Pikes Peak was difficult for me.
So there's a Cumberland Pass, and it's just,
that's pretty.
That is beautiful views. And that's another thing that I like about off-roading, especially in Colorado, is you get to the top, the views is just incredible.
Right.
Which we'll talk about that, but yeah, just beautiful.
I mean, Pikes Peak, yes, definitely some altitude, thin air and all that. But do you notice that you breathe easier in Colorado?
No.
You don't?
Not necessarily. I mean, the fresh air, yes. But at altitude, I know your mom, there were some times too where, we notice a difference, and like they say, drink more water and such, because you get dehydrated a lot easier, but you tend to.
Now, see, and I find, because my asthma is allergy induced for the most part. And so being in Colorado where there's less allergens actually helps my breathing. It's also harder because of the thin air.
Yeah, I mean, like there was a point where we went to Cottonwood Pass, and when we went, we never stopped the top of Cottonwood Pass.
That's right.
We did, and then there's an extra section where it's a 0.2 miles. You can walk up and further up onto the summit. So we started walking up that. We got about halfway up, and we were like, we still got to walk down, and we were winded. And I know we're probably out of shape. After we got back, we're like, we got to start working out. We got back into shape, because I used to be a pretty good little athlete and runner back in about 6 years ago. But so we just that's part of it. But also, I think at altitude too, you're going to get more winded at higher altitudes.
Yeah.
I think Buena Vista is at 7,000 feet or right at 8,000 feet.
Yeah.
There, but anyway, pretty cool. And I think Buena Vista has more 14,000 peak mountains around them than any other city, if I remember right. And so the 14ers are what they call it. But there you go. All right. Well, that's my vacation fun. But
watch the lightning do the hill climb very fast run.
Oh yeah, the Pikes Peak. Yeah. So yeah, she went up to Pikes Peak. Barb did, and she didn't. they didn't go all the way to the top because they took the tram, I think.
Oh, did they?
So they, that one spot where you stop and they check your brakes on the way down.
Yeah.
They didn't do the top part of that like we did. And just that part there was real nervous for her. And I says, I think you'd be different now. Now that you've been off-roading and what you've been doing, I think you would probably drive that differently. But the hard part is that you're on road and that you're going a little faster because there's a lot of cars that want you to go faster. And I think that's where it gets difficult is when people kind of, you feel like you've got to go faster and all that around those curves. And that's what makes her a little nervous. But all right. Anyway, that's that. I got a few, while I was gone, got a few patches in.
Oh, yeah.
We can go over those. So videos in the last week, I have some things to cover. Don't forget, you can get merch on our merch site. I have one of the shirts here you can get. And right now, I think there's free shipping through today if you want to get something on there. And then next month, there'll be some specials. We'll keep you updated on that. But
we should have matching shirts for when we go to events and stuff so we can match.
All right. So this in here is, go through these real quick. They're from Texas, evidently. Juice on the Loose is their Instagram handle. So they got this pretty cool sticker. I wish they had a patch like that so I can mark off Texas. Actually, I think I have marked off Texas. And there's their patch. Looking pretty cool. And they got a sticker to match it. So pretty cool. So got that. The juice is loose. Then we got this next one. It's a bunch of stuff. There's their patch. Oh, yeah. Tacoma Raptor. And I think that's Tacoma, Oregon, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Not Tacoma as in the truck, but there's their patch. That looks pretty sharp. I like that. And then also sent some stickers and I think magnets and such. They also have, not only do they have that Raptor, they have an old pickup too that he sends some little stickers on too. It's got an old pickup, which looks pretty cool.
Ooh.
With a camper. So it's got a teardrop camper.
I'm gonna need that one so I can trade with them.
So this is yeah. So in here he's got Tacoma Camper Super Duty on his Instagram. So he's got some other Instagram channels.
Let me see this.
So and there's the one with the camper with the Bronco.
Because I will totally trade him a Lightning for a Super Duty.
I might have to get. Do I need to get stickers with the camper on it? That's kind of cool.
No.
So there's their, yeah, they got little stickers.
You have so many stickers already.
It's got stickers and magnets. So anyway, so
I never know what to.
Yeah, maybe he'll swap you an old F-150 for your old Lightning.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. And they did say, thanks for the swap. Hope you're staying cool and enjoy some good trails this summer, which we did. All right. What's the next one?
All right. Here's those back.
I get these in the mail and people like, I get them come to the dealership here and they're like, what is that? It's like, it's patches and stickers. And they just think, okay. It's like baseball collecting. Or like Allie said last night on Alternation, she says, it's like Pokemon, got to collect them all.
Yes.
I agree. All right. This one is My Big Red Bronco on Instagram. There's their patch. And the stickers and other stickers and their chip. All right. I'm not going to do the poker chips. I say that now, but everybody's doing that now.
No, don't do it. You do enough with the patches and the stickers.
And more stickers. Thanks for the swap. Enjoy the adventures. Joni and Big Joe.
That looks like a golden retriever.
Jody and Big Red. So there you go. Yeah. Pretty cool. All right. What else we got here? One more. I actually had 5. I had somebody that sent me more patches. So I guess they got updated patches and I sent it, which I appreciate that. That was really cool. If I can get that out of there. I have to rip the envelope. There we go. This one said, Happy Trails, Katie and Seabiscuit. That's pretty cool. And then stickers to go with it that are sealed up. Oh wait, I think you told me that.
Yeah, there you go.
It's just not really sealed up.
Yeah, because last time he went to go rip that, I'm like, it's. No,
So they have the
good.
sticker that goes with the patch, and then they have the lighthouse, which is cool, and then just the one with the Bronco with the doggies. So pretty cool stuff, and then a nice Bronco one. I do like the fun little ones. So I found a lot of Sasquatch stickers on our trip. We kept collecting stickers. Plus some I gotta put on the Bronco. I gotta do like an updated Bronco video or something just going over that. But
You want
anyway.
a signed Sarah sticker? You can message. I'll send you my 01 Lightning.
There you go. All right, there's that. What else we need to cover here before we get started? I better minimize that. I might need that here a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, recent videos. We did a Maverick Monday, so it was a surprise. I said I wasn't going to do one, but before I left, I had a little bit of time. I really didn't have time, but I had an idea of a video after seeing what orders are previewing for Maverick, and so check that video out. Basically says if you haven't been scheduled yet, here are some things that you need to know and things that hey, you're trying to get that last Maverick that you maybe had to carry over, something like that. Here's some things to think of. So check that video out. Went live yesterday. Yeah, so we'll have that going. That's live. This week we'll have a lot of videos probably. We got videos next week. I won't tell. Well, we'll talk about it later. And then yeah, so there you go. I don't know what other videos went live. Jeff's mach-e. We did air design. Sent us a body kit for the mach-e. So I did a video on that on Jeff's mach-e, how you can get it, whether you have a select or a premium, you can get that body kit, and it looks pretty cool. It really dresses it up, gives it a nice look to your mach-e. So we did that video as well. I don't know what else we did. Anyway, we'll see. But personal channel, I did the videos. Those videos went live on there. Plus, I have one coming on the air up, air down system, which we're going to talk about later. So I have a video that Barb helped me record on the trails. So that we'll have that video go live on personal channel. Plus, we'll have some videos from the trails. I had pretty much about the whole time I had the front camera, which, by the way, did not work very well. The GoPro on the front as a trail cam didn't work all the time. Sometimes it would just like go and it was going good. But then there were times where I struggled connecting because it uses Bluetooth to connect so you can see it in the app, and then Wi-Fi to be able to preview what you're seeing using the GoPro as a camera with my phone. And so there were times where it just didn't work at all. And there was times where I'm like, I need it right now because I'm going uphill and I cannot see where I'm going. And there's a cliff over there. I really need to see that camera. And that's where we had Barb get out and try to just so that I made sure that I didn't go where I shouldn't have. So there are times where that front camera is really, really nice having. And so there were some times where I didn't have it, but because it wasn't working. So there's still some kinks to be worked out with that. I did notice at one point it was because the battery had died on it. So I have 3 batteries to it, so I switch it out. So I made sure I use the GoPro 11 for that. But anyway, we'll have that video go live. I'll work on some videos on that as well. Sometimes I do like a lot of time on the trail. I'm going to try to just get you some of the fun little clips instead of the full thing. I will record the full trip because sometimes I like to revisit that and go, oh, I remember that. That was fun, and just sometimes I'll just sit there and watch, us going on the trail. So, but I won't bore people with doing the full footage. But anyway, we'll get some of that going as well. All right. I think that's it. Whoa, we got to do this here. This is important here. Important stuff before we go any further.
Most are guessing
what's in Tim's cup. That's her code red. All right.
They know.
You guys figure out what that is.
They're like, we're no Red Bull, no energy drink, no coffee. Nope. I've kicked it.
All right. So you guys guess. We'll let you know after we talk about members and do a shout out. Member shout outs. How about that?
Yeah. All right, if you'd like to become a member, it is right there beside the subscribe button. It is the join. When you open it, it will show you the member perks that you receive. If you're an iPhone user, you do have to do things differently. You have to go to your web browser, go up to little a and big A, and request desktop browser. At that point, you should see that join button.
Yep.
Now, member content is under the community tab or membership tab. You should be able to see it on your home page now as well.
Yep.
Members
on our main channel page.
Yeah, members get a weekly live stream on Friday. Most times weekly. Sometimes we do have trips or something where we don't do it.
We'll be able to this week though.
Yep.
And a lot walk. Videos early.
Yeah.
I didn't do that on the Maverick Monday because I actually scheduled it out like Wednesday.
Yes.
So it was so far in advance that I didn't. But yeah, a lot of times, most of the times you'll see it, especially when I scheduled that day. They'll see it when I scheduled out. So sometimes it's 30 minutes before. Sometimes it's a couple hours.
New member packet. Send me your information with the Google form that is tagged. When we have the Maverick meetup, special member dinner, all of that shout outs, you get your in our chat, you get your name highlighted green with a badge next to your name telling you how long that you've been a member. And you get special emojis along with special super chats that are free, so you don't have to pay to use the super chats.
Yep.
Is that everything?
I think so. And you get highlighted in our live streams.
Yes. So let's go on with that.
Let's do it.
All right. We have Ridgeview. He is our moderator and member. He helps us with everything. He says, welcome to the live chat. See you all soon. We have Ronald Smith here. And he's using the special Bronco emoji that you can see in the chat.
Oh.
We have Anthony Spraccio. Evening. Hello, everyone. We have Alan Vols. Thank you for the live cast invitation. I think he was sent an invitation with live cast. BM Smothers. Well, howdy, folks. Reporting from MAP in Wayne, Michigan, as always.
Yeah.
We have Vols44, who said he was like number 4. We have Terry McGee. Good evening, everyone from Oklahoma. We also have Niles Gridley, who's our other moderator and in-house aftermarket specialist. So if you have any questions about aftermarket items, you can tag him at Niles Gridley, and he'll answer that for you. Aftermarket
came through for me this week. That rough country suspension, I gave it an A.
And Peugeot actually had a comment. His after 100,000 miles, his Bronco broke. What was it? Let me see. I actually have it tagged down here. Shock put a hole through the rear passenger floor.
Whoa. I've heard, I don't know if this is a Bilstein, but I heard some people having some issues with those. I know Allie's went out.
Yeah.
Wow. Time to get a new Bronco. we got them $5,000 off on our lot.
All right.
if you want an Everglades,
come meet us.
Got a Badlands too.
We have Niles. Anyway, so he says, howdy, let's get rowdy. What's in Tim's cup? He's the one that has encouraged the what's in Tim's cup.
Yes.
Him and a few others. We have Ghost Stang, Elizabeth, our Quibido, evening all. John Rice, howdy everyone. Douglas Blair, mash the like button. Tim will love you. We have Bud Guy 8829, Mid Coast, Maine. Good evening from Moxieland.
More Moxieland.
He actually shared a
Don't
photo.
have that in my cup.
He shared a photo of Moxie being stacked up in a grocery store. We have Mike M. Hope you are well. Just got through some golf. Rain this morning, finally, but good weather tonight. Glad you had fun.
I hope he's feeling better. Wasn't he under the weather?
Yes. He was after
sounds
vacation.
Like he's feeling better.
We have Henry. He says, I'd be here. Jack Evans, I'm late, but here. Ragcon, well, y'all did better than I did this weekend. I attempted to film a video and instead got sucked into the news. We have Lloyd in the Flow. Hello, Long McArthur World from Piedmont.
Oh.
And Matt Tay, any guess as to what Ford takes away from the Bronco on upcharges for next year, like they did with the DRLs this year? I like Peugeot. He said it only has 100,000 miles. I just broke it in.
Broke it in was a key word. Oh gosh, 100,000 miles.
Did you break it in, or did it break into your car?
Gosh, I didn't. I saw it last night. I was on alternate. Well, we were driving back, and so I was listening to Alternate Nation. Your mom was watching it, and she was responding a couple times. She'd chat and put something in there, but I didn't see that part. But anyway, I heard something about 100,000 miles. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's crazy. Anyway, yeah, so fun stuff. But yep. All right. Yeah, you know what's funny is we drove to Colorado and then back and then spent about all day every day in the Bronco for hours off-roading. So but you know what, it didn't seem that tiring. It was fun. Roll the windows down, put the top back when it didn't rain. That's one things we noticed. We'll talk about that too, is some of the tips to be ready for the weather. But it's like, man, it rains it says it's going to rain like every day. And what it is, it's like a rain that kind of comes through and gone. It's like, 10 minutes, put the top back up for like 10 minutes and then it's gone. And it's not like a downpour. Usually it's just, a sprinkle and then it's off. We actually had sleet, like snow pellets. When we were at the Tin Cup Cemetery, we went that way and it was coming down and she's like, oh, this is cold. It was like they were pellets. Like little sleet pellets. Anyway, but yeah, so anyway, all right, okay, what is next on our agenda? A good dealer moment. Oh, don't forget about the channels that we like to watch ourselves. All Terrain Nation, of course, don't forget Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. And then we do have the Bronco Nation does some videos every once in a while talking about different events. You definitely want to stay onto that if you're into the Bronco community and that stuff. And then, of course, RagnarCon has a channel, so check out his stuff. He does some fun stuff that he does to his Bronco, like I do with the Ford Video Guide channel, which make sure you're following that one as well. And then we have some other of our members that I haven't actually seen a couple of them in a while. And one watches the live streams later. But check out their channels. All of them linked down below. So find those. Driven Wild Outdoors. Bird Dog Overland. Or Off-Road Adventures now. Bird Dog. So yeah, watch his stuff too. So yeah. If you're looking for some other content, you're into Broncos, especially, you'll notice the ones that I kind of follow Bronco stuff. But check out those others if you want some more Bronco related or other news related sources. So
they're either Bronco or Maverick.
And All Terrain Nation does all. He's actually an auto journalist, so he does a lot of other vehicles too. So if you want to kind of learn something about other vehicles other than just the Broncos and Mavericks and such, he does videos on some of the others as well. And he's got a range of Raptors. So so that's a good channel to watch. So follow. All right. What's next? Good dealer moment.
Yes, I'm ready. All right, this week I have Donnelly Ford in Galion, Ohio. Drew was their sales representative. They ordered his Maverick without trouble, indicating I wanted to use X-Plan, no troubles. Truck finally came in and all went off without a hitch. Happy to do business with them. Does that mean that everything was okay and he didn't have a hitch, or it all went through and there were no problems?
Right.
All right. So that was Donnelly Ford in Galion, Ohio with Drew. There we go.
Okay. Well, we're going to get in here and do the scheduling. We're going to do scheduling here, and I will, full disclosure, I haven't even looked it over. So I'll do the best I can. I actually have to wear my glasses since I haven't looked it over.
Did you get any saltwater taffy while you were gone?
I didn't. We stopped at the
Oasis.
Think in Colby. We did stop at Oasis, but it was to get a Starbucks. But they did have saltwater taffy in there. I didn't get any though.
Man, you always get saltwater taffy on vacation.
I know.
That's one of the things that I remember from vacation was we always stopped in at a taffy store and we always got to pick a few pieces of taffy. And you would get a whole bag.
Yeah, I don't know. Wasn't in the mood, I guess. So anyway, so
You
all
didn't
right.
have the whole family there. That's why.
And you can say okay, so Colorado, like it said, takes about 7 hours to get there. It's about 7 hours from Buena Vista to Salina, Kansas, but not the way we travel. It took us about 9. Just, I mean, like that's why I say that I could really drive an EV because I like to stop every so many hours and get out, walk. We'll get something. We had 2 meals while we were driving back, so there's 2 of our 2 30-minute stops there for food, and then the other one we stopped at Lyman at one of the exits where they had the Colorado Gifts, and we looked through those for a while, and we got some Sasquatch stickers there, and that was 30 minutes. So you're talking like we had three times we stopped, and 30 minutes apiece. There's our hour and a half right there.
Yeah.
So, and when I have the trailer, I don't go faster than 75 just because it bounces a little bit if I do, especially on some of those Colorado roads. Oh, by the way, one last comment. I will never complain about a Saline County or Kansas county roads. Do you know what the Colorado county roads are? They're off-road. So
well, yeah,
Cumberland Pass is county road. Hancock Pass is a county road.
well, I mean,
So
even
never complain.
when we were in New Hampshire, remember that one that they took us on in the Bronco Sport? They're like, this is technically a county road, but we're going to use it for off-roading purposes.
So I'm like, okay. Anyway.
So Info Joe said the top hat failed on the non-Sasquatch Bilstein shock.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I did hit the trailing arm on the Bronco with a little dent in it. That's the one time we touched was that.
So for those that don't know their Kansas geography, Colby is west of Salina. It's between Salina and the Colorado border.
Yes. Which we went on. So we were going to take 40 like we did, but the bridge was out, Sharon Springs. So we couldn't go that way. So we
I will also tell you, Colby smells like cows.
So we took I-70, and there's a nice sign there that says that you're entering Colorado. And usually we stop there and we get pictures, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had construction in that lane, so we couldn't go over there. I'm like, man. I mean, entering Kansas isn't quite as fun as the Colorado sign.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, let's get into.
Douglas Blair says he actually has a friend that uses the dealership I just highlighted.
Oh, good. All right. Let's get into scheduling and get moving here.
Yes, let's get moving. Get back on task.
All right, so we're going to get scheduling this week, and this is the second week of scheduling for this month's for July's allocations for dealers. So we're going to actually let's go ahead and talk about terminology because that's the first thing we need to talk about because you're probably like, what are allocations? So let's talk about the terminologies, and then we'll get into the scheduling for this week. All right, so order bank, that is where your order dealer places all their stock and retail orders. So when you order with the dealership or when you order a vehicle, you're actually ordering from the dealership. The dealership orders a vehicle from Ford, and that's called a retail order. That's a customer placed order. And then a stock order is an order that is placed by the dealer for stock or lot inventory. A priority code, that's a priority given to the orders by the dealer. A retail order, that customer order can be anywhere from an 03 to 19, and that just allows them to stagger their orders. If the one's more important to them than some others for some reason, then they can give it a higher priority. Stock are 20 to 80. And again, on stock, Ford sometimes will load in orders for dealers that have allocations, but they don't have orders in there. So they want to make sure they fulfill their allocations. So sometimes they'll push those orders in there as 80s, but it allows the dealer to say, nope, I want these others are a higher priority for stock. And then the lower, the better. So it's like a golf score, as I like to say. Scheduling, that is when Ford schedules an order for production dates in the future months, which is what we're talking about in this part of the video. All right. Production dates, that order will be scheduled for a date for a certain week. And then as it gets closer, it'll get scheduled to the day of the week. All right. And those dates can move and fluctuate and change based on supply. Allocations. That is where Ford gives dealers allocations to schedule their orders. A dealer needs an allocation to schedule an order in the order bank. Dealer earns those allocations from their sales of each model within their region. So it doesn't matter if a dealer has 10 customer orders, if they don't have 10 allocations, those 10 will not get scheduled that month, and they may have to roll over to the next month before they get scheduled. Constraints, that is an option that is in short supply or may take longer to build. And then capacity, that is the planned production rate of a given motor, trim, or option. You hear us talk about that and some of the stuff, especially when it relates to like Maverick and some other vehicles. Job 1 and 2, that's where Ford pretty much plans their production into 2 different runs for the year. That way, if they need to introduce something, they can do that in the second half of the year, which they call job 2. And then balance out, that's a balance out at the end of production. We have some models that are balancing out. We're going to talk about that during this, as well as during the dealer news updates. A couple of those that are getting balanced out. So there you go. All right, so let's get into scheduling for this week. And again, as I mentioned, this is the second week of scheduling for July. Dealers allocations for July for September build dates. Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is the 24 model year Mustang. I don't have the unscheduled information. They did not provide that this week, so I won't have that to let you know about. But the 25 model year order bank is open up right now. 24, it says 24 order bank for stock is still ordered as open as well. And that is because they're still scheduling for 24 model year. So if a dealer needs an order or they need to fulfill that allocation, they'll need that, be able to put that in there. So that's why stock ordering is still open for the 24 model year, where retail is open for 25 model year, except for Dark Horse. Dark Horse for 24 model year is closed, but open for 25. But I will tell you this, dealers should know what their allocation is for the year already. Dealers were told that we're getting 1 Dark Horse allocation this year. So it is going to be a lot smaller than it was last year, it looks like. All right, so they are scheduled this week for the Mustang 24 model year, the weeks of 9/2 through the week of 9/23. Main commitment means that it could be retail or stock ordering at this point. Last week was retail only. This week, if a dealer doesn't have a retail order, then they'll go ahead and fulfill their commitment with stock. Here's some limited availability options. There's 3 of them. It's the 19 by 8.5 Sinister Bronze painted aluminum wheel or painted wheel. That's option 64S. That one's included in the bronze appearance package. And then wheel option the 18 or 64T. That's the 18 by 8.5 inch ebony black painted aluminum wheel. And then option 642 is a 19 by 8.5 inch premium polished aluminum wheel. Now, the exhausted availability is for these rest of these options, and that is the Night Pony package. That's option 60G. And then the tire 64F is the 18 by 8 inch machine face aluminum with the high gloss ebony black painted pockets. The black painted roof, the 5.0 liter V8 engine also is exhausted availability. So they're looking for some 2.3 liter orders there. Dark Horse, of course, with the manual transmission, 6-speed manual transmission, that is also exhausted availability, as well as the Mustang GT Fastback option with the manual transmission. So it's that combination. And then, of course, it does mention Mustang Dark Horse as well. And then it also mentions the 5.0 liter Dark Horse engine. So they're listing not necessarily orders, completely how it is, but actual options within those. And as you can see here, the 5.0 that's in the Dark Horse is mentioned, as well as the Dark Horse, as well as the manual transmission for the Dark Horse. So a lot of those just are, kind of work for about every order of the Dark Horse. So Dark Horse is going to be a hard one to get scheduled right now. But a dealer does need an allocation for that anyway. So, all right, that's all I have for Mustang. Next up is the 25 model year Escape. They are starting scheduling for the Escape this week. First week of scheduling for that, they are scheduling for the weeks of 9/16 through the week of 9/23. Main commitment, that could be a stock or retail. could be scheduled with allocations or with scheduling this week. The order banks are open up, by the way, for the 25 model year for stock in retail. So, all right. Next up, 24 model year Bronco Sport. The order banks are open up for the Bronco Sport right now for both retail and stock. They are scheduled this week, main commitment, so stock in retail. Production weeks of 9/2 through the weeks of 9/23. That's all I have for that. No constraints, no listed limitations there. So, all right, next up, 24 model year Bronco. The order banks are open up for many of the trim levels. Heritage Edition, it says retail is open for Heritage 2-door, but closed for Heritage 4-door. Your Heritage Limited is closed for both 2-door and 4-door. It's open for stock on your Heritage Limited 2-door. So if a dealer gets an allocation, they'll need to put that in as a stock order. Everglades is closed. In fact, I think production is closed on Everglades. So there you go. I think that's most of the ones I can think of. I feel like there may be one I'm missing there. Anyway, there you go. There's that. They are scheduled this week. Main commitment. So retail and stock scheduling this week. They are scheduled for the weeks of 9/2 through 9/23. Does say, it does say, as I just mentioned a second ago, dealers with an open allocation for Heritage Limited, please submit 2-door Heritage Limited orders. Actually, you had what? Oh, actually, now they updated it through tomorrow's date. So last week it was through last Wednesday. So they changed it. So if you do have one in, you got to put that in by Wednesday so they can schedule that order for dealers that get a Heritage Limited allocation. Required orders, they are needing some Big Ben 2-door orders, and they also need some Black Diamond 2-door orders. So they're looking for that, and they're looking for dealers to put their stock ones in as that way. Limited availability on the 4-door Big Ben and the 4-door Black Diamond. So first time we've actually really seen some limitations on some Broncos, but 4-door Big Ben and Black Diamonds are the ones that are limited, which is crazy. All right, next up, 24 model year Mach-E. Order banks are open up for Mach-E. They are scheduled this week for main commitment, so stock or retail scheduling could happen. Weeks of 9/2 through the weeks of 9/23. No limitations there on the Mach-E. Next up, 25 model year Explorer. Order banks are open up for the 25 model year for all trim levels. They are scheduled this week. It's a main commitment, so again, retail in stock could be scheduled for the weeks of 9/2 through the week of 9/23. So when I say that it's in that frame, it could be any of those weeks. So whatever fits their scheduling. Exhaust availability for the ST line version, the ST version, and the Platinum version, both two-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive and four-wheel drive on those. Also, limited availability for the carbonized gray painted 10-spoke wheel, that's 64Y, as well as 21 by 9-inch aluminum painted wheel, that's wheel option 642, and then also wheel option 64Z, the 21-inch dark alloy polished aluminum wheel. So having some wheel options and some wheel problems there. All right. That's all on the Explorer. Next up, 24 model year Expedition. Order banks are still open up for the Expedition for stock and retail. They are scheduled this week. Main commitment, again, retail in stock scheduling for this week. And they're scheduled for the same weeks, 9/2 to the week of 9/23. No limitations or any constraints there. All right. Next up is a 24 model year Maverick. Order banks are open up still for the stock in retail ordering of the Maverick. Main commitment this week, which means you're going to see some stock and retail scheduling happening. We had all of our retail orders scheduled last week that were in there. We actually had one put in after scheduling last week that's in there that's previewing today, actually. So we'll be looking for some stock ones to possibly be scheduled this week. And they are scheduled for the weeks of 9/2 through the weeks of 9/23. And they are looking for some XLT with standard 2.0 EcoBoost all-wheel drive and the 17-inch machine face carbonized gray painted aluminum wheel with the aggressive all-terrain tire option, T7F. Also, they need some Lariat with the standard 2.0 EcoBoost all-wheel drive orders. It does say required orders for dealers. So I think if a dealer has allocations and no retails, They want dealers to put those in. In fact, I can tell you that they put some of those orders in for us. That's all I'm going to say about that. Limit availability for the hybrid engine, as well as limit availability for the bed extender, optional on all series. Do not put those on your order. Exhaust availability for the front wheel drive, as well as the XL version, as well as the black appearance package on the XLT and Lariat series, as well as the bed liner hard drop in is exhausted. The 17-inch carbonized gray painted aluminum wheel, which is standard on an XLT, which is why they want you to order the XLT with the all-wheel drive and the optional wheel, is because they want you, because they're having issues with that wheel option, as well as the tire option on the XL and XLT that's standard. That's that T7R tire. That's, again, the reason why they want you to do the other. So, again, you can see they're having some issues with getting supplies for some of these tires and wheels. So that's why they need the orders like on the XLT, where they want you to go all-wheel drive, and they want you to add that optional 17-inch wheel, that's option 64V, and the aggressive tire, because then they can still fulfill production and get to that higher capacity of production. So that makes some sense. So there we go. All right. And again, go watch my Maverick video I did for last Monday, for Maverick Monday, episode 29. We talk a little bit about that and about the possibility. And we're going to talk later during the live stream segment. If you didn't watch the live stream, go back and check it out during the Is It True? We're going to talk about Maverick as well, and the possibility of getting that XL order. If it hasn't been scheduled, what the chances are that you probably get it scheduled. So, all right, next up is a 24 model year Ranger. Order banks are open up for the Ranger, except for, we'll talk about that in a second. They are scheduled this week for main commitment, so stock in retail scheduling could happen weeks of 9/2 through the week of 9/23. Limit availability for the 17-inch forged beadlock capable wheel that's optional on the Raptor, as well as, and that's wheel option 64S, by the way. And then the 17-inch gray painted aluminum wheel that's included with the XLT Sport Appearance Package, which is now standard on XLT. That's wheel option 64H. Exhaust availability for the 2.7 liter engine. So there you go. That's Ranger right there. And then 24 model years. You know what? There are a couple of order banks that are closing. Let me. We're going to talk about it during our live stream segment of this. But for those of you who don't watch that, the Ranger Raptor order banks are closing. The last day to order one of those is Wednesday, July 31st. So for dealers that have an allocation, you have until then to get those Ranger Raptor orders put in there for retail. So if you have a customer that wants to put theirs in as a retail order, that's your deadline to put that retail order in. After that, it'll probably just be stock scheduling, was what I assume. So, yes, so that is the retail order bank. So after that, a dealer would just have to put that, if they get an allocation for Ranger Raptor, would have to put it in as a stock order at that point. So there you go. That's something to keep in mind right there. All right. Next up is a 24 model year Super Duty. The order banks are open up for the Super Duty. They are scheduling at Kentucky Truck Plant for the weeks of 8/12 through 9/9, and for Ohio Assembly Plant for the week of 9/9. And again, same way as we've been seeing most weeks, they are needing some F250, F350s with a 6.8 liter engine, XL, without the heavy duty standard alternator. And then also F250s and F350s, XLTs and Lariats with the 7.3 liter engine without the fifth wheel gooseneck hitch prep package. So there you go. So we actually, because they're requiring orders like that, we're getting them in without the fifth wheel hitch. So we're actually finding a source where we can actually put that in for our customers if they're wanting it. And then also they are encouraging the use of the Tough Bed spray and liner, because they do have that production lineup is under production, so they can take more of those. All right. Limit availability for the King Ranch Platinum and Limited, as well as limit availability for the F600. The lug nut cap that's available on the XL Lariat King Ranch Platinum 4x4 F250s and 350 single rear wheels with either the 10.5, 11.6, or 11.8 axles. The wheel ornament is also a limit availability that's available on the two-wheel drive. Two-wheel drive single rear wheel with this 10.5 axle size. And then also the 4x2 Dana axle that's standard on F450, 550, 600 two-wheel drive pickups or the chassis cab. And then also limited availability for the heavy-duty alternator that's standard on the XL gas. And then also limited availability for the 203-inch wheelbase fuel tank with the low sulfur diesel fuel. And lastly, limited availability for the power sliding glass that's available on the crew cab and super cab. Now, when we say these are limited availability, it doesn't mean that they won't, any of them will get scheduled, because I've had people call me out and say, you said it was limited, but I got scheduled. Again, a lot of it has to do with dealer allocations, fulfilling those allocations for customers, and if they can do it. So they're very limited availability, but not no availability. They would say no availability or balance out if it was that way. But limited availability says there's still a chance, but very limited chance. So just kind of clarify that. All right, next up is a 24 model year F-150. The order banks are open up for stock right now. Retail is closing on August 2nd. So last chance to get those F-150 orders in. It does say in here that the retail order bank for 25 model year will open up 8/26, I believe that says. So there we go. And then they are scheduled this week for the week of 9/2. Heads-up display is restricted and standard on most high series. So that's standard on the, so it says, please consider ordering like on the FX or on your Tremor, go with 401A, Lariat, go with 501A, and on the Platinum, go with that 701A, because it's standard heads-up display on those other trim levels. So 402A, 502A, 702 or 703A, it's standard. So if you want to get it scheduled, go with the 401A, 501A, or 701A. They are needing some Raptor orders, it says. That's really weird. Orders required, 801A, Raptor. So what they're saying is there's a lot of people that are wanting their 802As, that Raptor 37 scheduled, but what they really need is they need the Raptor 801As in there. But the problem is you've already scheduled all those, Ford. One that you haven't scheduled are the 802As. So stick to that, though. Don't make Ford tell you you need to go 801A. If you're needing to get that Raptor 37 scheduled, leave that in there. They will schedule, and they may not, that allocation might roll over to next month, but that way eventually you will get that order scheduled. Key dates says order submission. You have till August 2nd, 2024. Dealers will have until 10 p.m. Eastern to submit new retail orders. And don't forget, CLVP still needs to be done. That's still a thing. Deadline is August 9th on those orders as well. Limit availability for the 4570 R17 black sidewall all-season tire that's standard on the two-wheel drive XL. And then the 265, I think 70 R18 all-terrain black sidewall tire that's included on the STX 201A. And then that's tire option T8C. And then tire option T7T is the 37 by 12.5 R17 black sidewall all-terrain tire that's on the 802 and 803A. Those are your 37 inch tires. Those are limited availability, which is probably why we're struggling to get those scheduled. Also, the 2.7 liter engine, believe it or not, is limited availability. The tough bed spray and liner, Super Duty, you could order it. F-150, don't order it. That's the easy part of that. Heads-up display, as we mentioned, also is an issue there. So that is the 402A, 502A, 702 or 703A, standard on King Ranch and Raptor. So that's going to be an issue with those. All right, that's F-150. Last is a 24 model year Transit. The order banks are open up for the Transit. They are scheduled for the weeks of 8/26 through 9/9. To increase your chances of orders being selected, please consider adding the 12-inch screen, it says. It says Transit orders with the trail package will not be selected for scheduling this week. And then also limited availability for the option 58U, the AM/FM stereo with the 4-inch multifunction display. That's why they want you to go with the 12-inch screen. Also, the Sync 3 with the 4-inch multifunction display. So again, they're having issues with that. And then the 3-seat passenger configuration. that's also limited availability. So there you go. That's all those. So for those of you that are watching this on our Wednesday video as a separate video for scheduling, drop those comments down below. I'll try to answer those as quick as I can. I know I was on vacation last week, so I didn't get them all answered, but I do try to get those answered for you. Please put those down below, or better yet, if you want to join us live on our live stream, then we'll take your questions live right now by bouncing it back over to Sarah. There we go.
All right.
Okay. So if you didn't catch that, that's kind of new news. F-150 order banks are closing on the 24 model year on the 2nd of August. And Ranger Raptor retail order banks orders are July 31st. So the reason I say retail is if you have to have that retail order. Now, the thing of it is the dealer can still put in a stock Raptor order. So, and people don't realize that just because you have a Ranger Raptor order in there doesn't mean it's going to get scheduled. If your dealer is going to only get 5 allocations for the year and they fulfilled all 5 of those, having an order in there isn't going to matter. Your dealer will not get it scheduled, period. Mm-hmm. So a dealer has to get a Raptor allocation to get that order scheduled. And that can be as a stock order instead. So which is what's happening right now on the Bronco Heritage Limited Edition is it has to be put in as a stock order anyway. So the dealer gets that allocation. Since the order banks have been closed, you put it in as a stock instead. On the F1, and then on the F-150, order banks are closing on the 2nd, but 25, and they even announced it on here on this sheet, and hopefully I'm not in trouble because it's on the sheet, that the order banks are going to open up, I think, August 26th. I have to get my glasses to see for sure. My eyes are tired. So, 8/26 is when the order banks open up for 25 model year. People have been asking about that. And they had said it was supposed to be like August, and now it's saying August 26th. Now, that date could change, and I want to say that in case Ford gets mad at me. Make sure everybody knows that that's the tentative date right now is 8/26 for the order bank, but that could move. So we're going to talk about Maverick order bank opening up as well. I didn't mention in here, but we have information. Actually, I've had information on that for a while. I haven't felt like I can talk about it until somebody put it out there, and now Ford Authority has it. So, but I'm going to talk about some clarifications about that. And when they say it opens up, when does it actually open up? So, because I want people to get frustrated because they're going to dealers and they're like, well, it's not open up. The dealer says it's not. So we'll talk about that when we get to the is it true.
All right.
All right. More questions? Yeah.
Is the order system same in Canada as the U.S.? My dealer won't answer my questions regarding allocations. I put a $5,000 deposit down on a 24 F450 XLT and have not heard any updates.
It is different in Canada. Johnny on Johnny's Car Care and Review, he's from Canada. Mm-hmm. He might be a good source for you to kind of ask about that. Mm-hmm. But I think for the most part, they follow along with the U.S., but sometimes the dates and the close dates are changed for Canada. They're different. Yes. So I don't know. I would say probably Canada's having the same issue as the U.S. on those F450s, mm-hmm. is that they just don't make that many F450s or can't make that many F450s.
So many people are wanting the F450 now.
Well, people have been waiting on it. I don't know if it's that many that because the production rate is less than around 5%, whereas on all the others it's like 10, 15, 20% for those. So it's a lot higher amount of production. So it's kind of like a Raptor. We don't have an actual percentage on Raptor, but we know it's really low. Yeah, but Johnny's Car Care and Reviews, he's on YouTube as well, and he is a good Canadian resource. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's pretty knowledgeable. And he's at a dealer, so he knows the inside scoop on that. Yes. All right. If a 2024 F-150 order hasn't been scheduled by 8/2, would my order be changed to 25? Mm-hmm. You would need to reorder, or your dealer would need to place a new 2025 order for you. Okay, well, hold on a second for that. Right. So, kind of. I mean, possibly. Oh, yeah. So you got to remember that they open up the order bank for the next year because it takes a while for them to get the orders and schedule. So that's why you'll see stock ordering still be available for a little while. So the stock order banks aren't going to close for 24, just the retail, because a dealer might get an allocation because they're still going to be scheduling on 24s after the 25 order bank opens up. Now, I don't have the last production dates, but we do know for a fact that they're going to be scheduling. Like right now, we're scheduling for September build dates for a lot of these. Well, F-150, that means they're probably going to produce into, October, whatever. So there's still going to be another month of scheduling in August. So August, they're still going to be scheduling for 24 F-150. So, but when the order bank, usually what we always tell people, when that next order bank opens up, if your order hasn't been scheduled, go ahead and place a 25 order. If your 24 gets scheduled, you can cancel that 25 order. So
I forget that there's overlap.
There's overlap there, and that's for a reason. I mean, they can't, you can't, you're doing things in advance, especially months in advance. Like on the Maverick, they schedule 2 months in advance on about every model. They schedule 2 months in advance. So they have to start taking orders 3 months in advance when you start thinking about that.
Yeah. So my Bronco BD is that
Black Diamond
build date is July 28th. Ordered May 1st, beginning of job 2. Retail orders have price protection? ?
Yes, you should have price protection as long as the dealer. It's up to the dealership to fulfill it, but they should, now that they actually have the protected invoice amount now showing up on those vehicles, but they should protect it to the price it was when you ordered your vehicle. So May 1st, hopefully you got a copy of your build so that you can fight that and go into your dealer and say, this is the price I should pay. I'm protected to the price it was when I ordered the vehicle. And if they say, well, the price went up, we don't have anything, said, no, you need to talk to manager. You just put your foot down and say, I want to talk to manager, because there is price protection. They are supposed to protect the price to what it was when you ordered the vehicle, unless you made a change. So if you made a change in your order before then, that's different. And then it's whatever it was when you made that change on that, unless it's something that's not significantly changing, or that price changed on that part or that option or whatever, but you are protected. So that's another thing where the dealer can do whatever the heck they want to, because in a sense, the way Ford looks at it is they're going to reimburse the dealer back the invoice amount, right? It's up to the dealership to do whatever they want. So basically that's saying that, okay, we're going to give them that, but they're basically marking the vehicle up on you. So they can sell it to you for the new invoice amount. And let's say it went up $1,000. That's just, to them, that's an extra $1,000 of profit. So a lot of dealers just pull over whatever they can. So again, it's like negotiating. You can negotiate, you can walk away, you can do this stuff. But it really is up to the dealership to whether or not they want to honor that. Some dealers they act like they don't know, whatever. But their price protection is a thing, but it is up to the dealership to fulfill that and to honor that.
Yep.
So,
all right. Is it true that the 2.7 EcoBoost is not going to be available in 2025 Bronco? Will there be any other engine besides the 2.3?
At this point, I can only hear
Speculate?
that I've been hearing rumors at this point. I can't clarify anything yet. So right. I've been told some things, but I don't know how accurate those things are.
What is the difference between restricted and limited availability?
So there's exhausted and limited. So exhausted is harder than limited. So just kind of like it sounds, that limited availability means that they can do some, but not the capacity that they normally are running at. So that means they're below their normal capacity for that particular option. And exhausted means that they probably aren't going to be able to fulfill any or very few. I mean, like a small amount. So exhausted is worse than limited. But I've seen some orders be limited and even exhausted and still get scheduled.
Yep.
They really try to fulfill dealers' allocations completely, and if that's all they have in there, they'll try to fulfill that if there's an open slot or two. So I've seen that happen. Kind of like this last week, we had XL, very limited availability, right? But all of our XLs got scheduled. All of our retail XLs got scheduled. So, but now they won't have as many slots for XL. So now it's limited to exhausted to try to get an XL Maverick, because they kind of pulled in most of the production. We'll
Mhm.
talk about that here in a little bit. But
Have you heard Ford is going to start building Super Duties at the Oakville plant in Canada?
actually, that's in my dealer news segment.
Okay.
Ford did.
I got ahead of you.
It's a couple years yet. Don't expect that anytime soon.
Okay. When might we hear about 2025 F-150 changes and order guide?
The August 26th.
Okay. All right. Those are the questions I had.
We've asked Ford as dealers. We've asked Ford for those order guides early, and they refuse to do it. So usually what happens is, and we'll talk about this on the Maverick stuff, but pretty much every model, order bank will open up. The order guides will come out that morning, and typically what happens is the order banks will open up until like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So it does give dealers at least a day to do that. But so a lot of times those customers come in that day and go, I'm ready to order. And it's like, order banks aren't open up yet, but I can tell you we can build it out. And so I can have it ready and submit it when it does open up. But that's kind of how that works.
Mm-hmm. All right. Those are the questions that I had.
All right. So then we'll do dealer news updates. I got a few in here. I need to wear my glasses for this. Let's get into that. If I can find there we go. All right, so we're going to get into dealer news updates. And like I said, I might need to wear my glasses for this. The first couple we mentioned during the scheduling information, that is the Ranger Raptor order banks are going to be closing for a retail order on July 31st. So get those retail orders in. And again, just because you get that order in doesn't mean it's going to get scheduled. And you might ask, well, what's the purpose? What's the difference between a stock versus a retail? Retail, you get price protected. A stock, you don't. So that's the purpose of why you want to make sure you get a retail order in. But if that dealer is not going to get an allocation for a Ranger Raptor, it doesn't really matter, right? So don't forget to get that COVP'd if you do get that order in. All right. Next one is the F-150 retail order bank closing. That's happening August 2nd. And again, for the same purpose, price protection comes into play there as long as the dealer actually fulfills it. But stock scheduling will still, stock ordering will still be open in case that happens, or a dealer has an allocation and such like that. So that's going to be closing as well. So the order banks will be closed for a retail order on an F-150 for like, I don't know, 3 weeks, right? So you want to get that retail order in if you want, or otherwise your dealer can order your stock. But again, you won't be price protected. And that is important because usually late in the year you will see a price increase on a lot of models because they like to say that the price didn't go up from 24 to 25. And for the way for them to do that is to raise the price before the end of the model year. So there's not a significant price increase, but really it just happened like a couple months before. So what we'll probably see is a price increase on the F-150 after August 2nd, right? You get to lock in that price, but those that didn't on all the stocks, that price will be up. So that way in 25, they can say that price didn't go up. That's how that usually works. Next one is update here. It says a 25 model year F-150 Lightning, F-150 excluding the F-150 Lightning, stolen vehicle services, customer enrollment required. So this is a new thing that's available in the F-150 is the stolen vehicle services. So that's offered on all 24 model year F-150s, and it is listed on the window sticker and order guide. When enabled, stolen vehicle services uses the vehicle's built-in sensors, hardware, and software to protect and track the vehicle when it is reported stolen. A customer must be enrolled in the stolen vehicle services for Ford to be able to track and assist in the event of a theft. Customers can enroll via the FordPass app or their Ford.com account. So you want to make sure if you do get one that you enroll. It says if a customer confirms a theft occurred, the FordPass app will direct the customer to call local police to file a report and then contact the call center with the report number. Customers have 24/7, 365 access to the designated call center where trained agents are prepared to send tracking information to law enforcement and support the customer throughout the recovery process. Customer must be enrolled in stolen vehicle services for Ford to be able to track and assist in the event of a theft. So this doesn't necessarily allow you to be able to see it or Ford tell you where it's at, because they don't want you going and getting it. Because if these people stole it, who knows what else they might do to you. But it's to help and assist with law enforcement to recovering the vehicle and knowing exactly. So basically, they're able to track exactly where that vehicle is at, right? But they want to be able to work with law enforcement to do that. So, but make sure you do enroll with that. And I think you get 1 year of services for free. After that, just like all their other stuff, all their other connected services, they're going to charge you for it. Sorry. I don't like they do that. All right. Anyway, next up is the Ford Pass Rewards and Lincoln Access Rewards members can now use points towards eligible connected services updated. Or this is an update to that information. So effective July 22nd, 2024, Ford Blue Cruise and Lincoln Blue Cruise have been added to the list of eligible connected services members can use their Ford Pass Rewards and Lincoln Access Rewards points towards a connected service subscription. So this does help out. So if you're getting those Ford Pass points, especially if you're using the credit card and such, then you can start using it on these connected services. I know I used my points for my navigation on the Expedition, which we used this last weekend. And now they've added Ford Pass as being able to use those points to pay for your Blue Cruise. I mean, I said Ford Pass. I meant your Blue Cruise is now added. So now you have the connected navigation, premium connectivity, and the Blue Cruise. And soon it says the stolen vehicle services, but not yet. You can use those points on those. So that does lessen the blow. That's one of the things that I hate is hearing that Ford is charging you now for some services. So yeah, use your Ford Pass points for that, which still is like, sometimes I like to use it on parts, but there you go. F-Series Super Duty production expands to Canada. So this is information they gave it out to dealers. It was also a lot of news outlets put this out there as well. So Ford Motor Company earlier today, this is actually a memo that came out July 18th. So it's earlier today, I made an exciting announcement that we are expanding Super Duty production at our Oakville Assembly Complex in Ontario, starting in 2026. So this move initially adds 100,000 units of Super Duty production to meet customer demand. In addition, we shared that we will add multi-energy technology to Super Duty in the future in support of our electrification plans. Now, that doesn't mean full electric. So just to clarify, electrification can be hybrid, plug-in hybrid, or full electric. So it doesn't say what there. So some people were implying that there was going to be an all-electric Super Duty. I don't believe that that's what it means. I believe that means we're going to see a hybrid version or some hybrid help to the Super Duty. So I just want to make sure that I clarify that. It says we remain excited about our 3-row electric utility vehicle originally planned to be produced at Oakville. We are committed to continuing to develop our electric vehicle business with additional information to be shared in the future as we get closer to launch. This exciting news for Ford, our customers, our employees, and our dealers. From what I understand is they plan to make the 3rd row down in California, I think. But there you go. There's that. So,
okay.
Got anything to add there to that stuff?
No, not really.
So not a lot there, but there are also some order guide update, but I haven't had a chance to look at it. The F-150 order guide has been updated as on the 19th, and I haven't had a chance to look it over closely to see what's changed on it. But I did notice that about every trim level, something on the optional pages changes. So what they do is they'll actually give any changes, and then they'll just give you the pages that something changed on. So these pages are different. So for you to take this and switch out your pages or just reprint a new one. And so that's usually how I can tell. I can usually go through and try to find out what was changed on it. So something was changed on the optional equipment on about every trim level, as well as the standard equipment page on the Lariat trim, which is weird. So it's probably something that's optional on most trim levels, but standard on the Lariat trim. It's the only thing I can think of. I don't know. So we'll see. I'll have to look it over, and I'll get back to you guys next week with what changes that I found. So All right. Any questions on any of that?
No.
I know somebody asked earlier about Oakville. So yeah, 2026 for that plant. So that's still a ways away. So, but that also means that that plant's down still for a couple of years. So the people that are working on that plant, I don't know what they do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. Figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get paid the big bucks to
To think about that.
think about that. All right. Anything else?
I don't know. Do you have
No?
anything else?
I got recalls.
Okay.
Only a couple. They're all customer satisfaction. None of them are safety recalls, though. All right. So, go through these recalls for a second. We have a customer satisfaction program 24B41, and this is for certain 2024 model year F-150s with a 2.7 liter engine. So this is in reference to, there was a one called Update Before Sale 24U07. So this is kind of an update to that, going a little further. So this program will be in effect through July 31st of 2025. There's no mileage limit on this program. So basically, vehicles are built with a 2.7 liter engine at Dearborn between May 31st, 2023 through April 10th of 2024, and Kansas City June 3rd, 2023 through April 4th of 2024. 27,183 vehicles are affected by this, and some vehicles may be in the process of being repaired at the plant or over the air update. Now it says the reason for this program: in all affected vehicles, the air conditioning AC compressor may become damaged under high speed and high load operations due to the PCM calibration. Customers will experience a loss of AC cooling in the vehicle in the event of a compressor failure. There are no cluster messages or warning lights to signal this malfunction. So we've actually had some vehicles show up here with that issue. We're like, well, you're telling me a brand new vehicle I don't have AC? Yep. So but now that this is out, so now they can get that fixed for you guys that are having that issue. So some of it can be done by an over-the-air update, which is even better. So you don't have to go to the dealer. So letters are going to go out to customers that are affected by this the week of August 5th. So in fact, you can expect that's coming. All right, the next one is Customer Satisfaction Program 24B47 for 2018 to 2024 vehicles. And this is various vehicles. I'm not going to go through the whole list because it's almost every vehicle that's equipped with the sync software. So this program will be in effect through August 31st of 2025 with no mileage limit. Population is 383,085 vehicles affected by this. And the reason for this program is in all of the affected vehicles, due to an error in the sync software, you may experience sync system instability concerns and or failure to preserve certain settings across ignition cycles. This may result in a black infotainment screen that does not affect rear view camera, incorrect language setting, erased or unsaved radio presets, and potential inability to perform software updates. So there you go. And letters are going to go out the week of August 5th on this one too, to those owners. So a lot of vehicles. So it's showing, yeah, there's just a lot of different vehicles. All right. This last one is a customer satisfaction program 24B27, which we've talked about that one in the past. This is a supplement and an update to that recall or program. This is for 2020 to 2024 Super Duties and 21 to 25 Econoline vans equipped with the 6.8 liter or 7.3 liter gasoline engine. So in this update, they updated the software is now available to repair the 21 and 22 and 25 model year Econoline vehicles. So that's what's changed on this at this time. So just to kind of remind people, this is an affected vehicle is a variable displacement oil pump, delivers oil to the engine at low pressure capacity during idle conditions. Routine occurrences of prolonged idle time may result in excess wear to the engine camshaft, lobes, and valve tappets. tappet surfaces, I should say, due to reduced lubrication. Over time, the engine may progressively run rough due to cylinder misfire. Additionally, customers may hear noise tapping or engine tapping noises, and the check engine light may illuminate. So this year, letters are going to go out to those that got that update with those other owners the week of, well, they should have went out the week of July 8th, as well as some went out the week of May 16th. So anyway, there's that. All right. There you go.
All right.
Have we said what's in the cup yet?
No.
I said I was going to do it after the member stuff and I forgot. And I haven't been looking at the chat. I'm sure they were like really upset about it right now.
No, not really. But they all guessed Code Red. Most of them guessed Code Red. Some guessed Baja.
It's Monster Coffee. It's the mocha or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Had a lot of Mountain Dew this weekend. Okay. All right. There's that.
All right.
All right. Should we do the ready for the Is It True?
Yeah.
All right. Is it true that 2025 Ford Maverick order banks open August 1st? And that is true. Again, that's information that we've had that haven't felt like we're able to talk about, but it's out on Ford Authority and some other things. But something to keep in mind on that is, yes, they're supposed to open up August 1st, and they're saying that is a go. That is not a tentative or possibly that's a go. But keep in mind, they will not open up until the very end of the business day. So just like most of them, don't go into your dealers in the morning and expect to be able to order your vehicle. It won't happen. And then you're going to come back on to Maverick Truck Club or to me and say, you lied. It's not the August 1st. Or not. You cannot order them. Yeah, you just got to wait until later in the day. Usually it's 3:30 or 4 o'clock. So they reset their ordering system twice a day. One of them is first thing in the morning. If that order guy is not out or not quite available, then you won't be able to order that morning. So then usually it'll be later in the afternoon. So, and we've always found 3:30 to 4 is usually that time slot when you can do that. Now, with that in mind, some people are like, well, will I still be able to order a 24? Like on the Mustang, you could order that first day, you could order a 25 in a 24 retail order. We don't know that because usually, like on the F-150 right now, they're closing 24 order bank now and then opening up the 25. And typically that's what you see on most models. But as you know, August 1st is just a little over a week away. Right. So we haven't heard them closing the 24 order bank for retail. A lot of times they'll still leave it open for stock. Again, so dealers can help fulfill their allocations. And by doing that, they can put a stock order in. So we'll see. We'll keep you posted on that. But I don't know if they're going to close the 24. So, and maybe they're going to leave it open like on the Mustang. If you don't, it would be nice because if you reveal the 25 Ford Maverick, then, and you don't like it, you're like, I want to take the last chance. I want to order the 24. I've already told you guys, you probably should do that anyway if you don't like what you're seeing out there. But, I don't know. The question is it going to be what's been driving around out there? And they're going to have a big media drive, a reveal that day. So August 1st, early in the morning, you're going to see all these media sources put out videos on the reveal of what's included in 25 model year Maverick. So I hope that there's something different than what we've been seeing, or what's the point of bringing in all the media to reveal something that's already out there?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. That's that. Any questions on that?
Ford Story showed if 2025 Maverick hybrid engine is paired with all-wheel drive, then it will not be available with the differential lock. Is that true?
We don't know anything about 25 yet, to be honest.
Yeah.
Ford Authority, some of that point is just purely speculation. So they have not told anybody, media or dealers, what the configurations are for 25 model year yet. That's what's going to happen on the 1st. We will not, order guides will not be available to dealers until August 1st. They just won't. So we don't know for sure on that. Now, that morning, media is probably going to get some indication of what can be configured. And that video going out, that might be where, let's say, and I'm not saying this because I don't know, the all-wheel drive is going to be available in the hybrid, right? Then you might have media giving you that information, but to know what configuration, whether it's going to be available on this or that, till the order guide comes out, which will be that day, you won't know. So yeah, there you go. So yeah, if you're going to try to reach me on August 1st, it's probably not going to happen because you know what I'll be doing. I'll be pumping out videos if I can. So, I mean, I might even do a live on August 1st.
Yeah.
Might be easier to just go through the order guide or the configure, if the configure is even available. We don't even know if Ford's build and price will be available because on the Mustang, it was not. The day they opened up the order banks, Ford's build and price on the Mustang was not available yet. And I don't know if it still is or not. We have it on our website, but whether they will, I don't know. I don't know if they do or not.
Is that end of day Eastern or?
So for us, 4 o'clock Central. So that'd be 5 o'clock Eastern. And so you can kind of see, boom, they shift it and then they go, bye, we're closed. So like dealers on the, East Coast, it's 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock here. So we still have an hour of work hours that we're open that we can go ahead and put orders in at the very end of the day, but not for very long. Like that last year that happened to us.
Yeah.
We got a few orders put in that first night, but then we did most of them the next day. Right. Let's see. Can you configure? Can you build a 25? Yeah, you can now. They do have 25 Mustang now. I know before I left, they didn't have the building price. So last Thursday, they didn't have it.
Yeah.
Looks like they do now. So there you go. So whether or not that'll be launched, I assume it will be, but there you go. There's that. All right. Any other questions about that? Configuration was available for the next day when I checked. Okay. Talking about Mustang. All right. All I know is that day they didn't have it, and the next day I don't think they had it either. So, although you know what, one thing I don't like about it opening up on the 1st, that is the day that dealers are doing their month end. Right? August, the 1st of every month, we're closing out our last month. We're trying to figure out what everybody's going to get paid, what commissions they had, everything else. Usually, GMs, sales managers, salespeople, they're usually trying to finish up month end and figure out what their paychecks are and everything else until about noon or 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon that day. So that I don't like them doing it on the 1st, but
we've planned the Maverick meetup for the 2nd and 3rd, right?
Yeah, it's the 2nd and 3rd. So anybody coming to Maverick events, you'll be able to pick my brain, and by then we'll have seen everything. So
yeah,
should be fun. Mabsim is correct. So did you see that?
Yes. Does it really matter if 8.1 or 8.2? All that matters is that it's in before they start scheduling.
Because really, a lot of times, the biggest impact, and he knows this, and that's why he's saying this, is your configuration has more to do with you getting scheduled than if you got scheduled, if you got put in 1st or 2nd. And we found that with some of our people. We have members that we had a whole list. We saw other people get scheduled that were down here versus the people that were first in line. So its configuration is more important than the time stamp. So when and where is the Maverick show?
I'm linking it. Our
here in Salina, Kansas. So
yep, and I'm gonna link our website with more information.
All right.
Can we get Tim to host a stream from his house one night so we can really find out what's in that cup? It'd probably be the same thing.
Yeah.
Unless it's a Friday night. I'll indulge on a Friday night.
You know, I had we went to a Mexican restaurant on actually the last night. We were down in Buena Vista, and I had never had one of the beers. It was like Pacifico or something, and it was really good.
So you drink beer. I cannot. I mean, I can do a cider, a hard cider. I can do those.
I don't
like beer.
I don't know. I'm one of those that certain like some of those craft beers, like the ales and some of those, I can't do. So
yeah, I prefer wine.
So usually, the stronger, more stout they are, or whatever, I can't. So,
well,
but I like to try them. But that's why some of them will give you like a flight.
Yeah,
they'll give you a little shot glass of a bunch of different ones.
You
and
like
I like that because
chocolate martinis.
Yes, chocolate martinis.
I
or
tried
espresso
one.
martinis.
I tried one and he had to finish it for me. Can't do something that tastes like alcohol. Mm-hmm. I like my sweet wines.
Old fashions, I drink those.
Well, I'm getting there to the dry wines.
Yeah, old fashions. Now, old fashions can be made, I guess it's called Wisconsin style with brandy, and that your mom can have that because a lot of beers. A lot of whiskeys have weed in it, so she can't have some of those. That's why she usually veers towards a wine. But brandy, she can drink.
Yes.
So if they can make the old fashioned with brandy, then she can have it.
Yeah. Now it's just like any votes to change the stream to Fridays. Well, maybe a member live.
Anyway,
from the house.
So there's that. All right, let's get to our what's on my mind. Right.
I mean, I posted a picture to the members when we were in Detroit that first time. Someone sent us some money through PayPal for a drink while we were at the Dark Horse reveal. We got a drink. We took a selfie with our drinks.
But we didn't.
I only
wasn't alcohol, was it?
Yeah. Oh. I only posted it to the members.
I don't drink a lot of alcohol, but
no.
Usually it's just like a drink.
Well, just like I kicked like the caffeine out of my diet, I haven't been drinking much either. It's a margarita here or a glass of wine there.
Not usually I have like one, maybe two at a dinner. If it's a longer dinner, that I'll have.
I've become the designated driver with my friend group.
Yeah. I usually, I mean, I don't. I look at it this way: alcohol. If I drink it, I should be drinking about the same speed as I would like a pop or a water. Then I feel like it's for pleasure and not for any other reason. So, I don't drink alcohol any faster than I would like what's in Tim's cup.
Yeah.
All right. I'm looking forward to this. All right. So we have what's on my mind. So the title of the live streams is usually basically what's this subject of this part of the live stream. And so some of these are the tips that we learned, not really just necessarily off-roading this week in Colorado, but we thought, hey, here's some things that you need to think about if you're going to go off-roading, go out on trail before you go, or even when you're on the trail. And, some of these got kind of got sparked because we've just seen, not necessarily we saw people doing this, but we saw some of these things that it's like, we really wish that people would follow, the trail things and the etiquettes that you should follow, and just some other things to think about when you're out there off-roading. So some of this stuff is probably not new to a lot of you people that go off-roading a lot. But people that are new to it, because we're fairly new to it. I think now we've been on the trails about 14 times.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've lost count now, but we're having a lot of fun with it, and just some things to think about. And I've added some things to ours. So we're going to go through this list that I have here. And your mom and I acquired this list on our way back from Colorado yesterday. So we a lot of these were put on here. And by the way, your mom's working on a shirt with a lot of different things, like life lessons learned on the trail. And so she's got some stuff, and you should, and they're pretty good. And I said, can I share those? And she goes, I don't want to share it publicly yet. So, because she wants to look it over and maybe reword some things, but she has some pretty cool sayings and some pretty cool things. So you should check it out. You have her share it with you. She probably would, but we won't share it publicly. I don't do that. I usually ask, can I share it? But all right. Anyway, so it ought to be good. She wants to put on a shirt. You know how it has different, like 10 things, 10 tips of the whatever. So it's pretty good. Anyway. All right. So, and by the way, she on tonight or she not feeling good still?
She popped in
Did
for a
she?
little bit there.
How's she doing? She maybe didn't double check on her. So
Yeah. So, yeah, I have like my brother doesn't drink because of he's he just doesn't drink, and then I my husband's side though, they tend to go hard.
all right. So here's some things. Here,
She's on.
all right. She is. Okay. So she's listening on, but all right. So she can add anything that I missed in here because we jotted down some things. And she said, if I just put that, will that jog your memory? And I hope it does. So you can remind me if I don't.
He
All right.
handed it to me. I'm like, I can't read it. Don't ask me to.
All right. So I kind of put these in as like, hey, before you go, these are things to think about and remember. And then when you're on the trail, here's some other things and tips. So first of all, before you go, this is something that I don't always think about, but most of your states require some sort of registration to go off-roading. So to be on those off-road trails and such, or especially that I think you're more than anything, it's usually your ATVs and your side-by-sides and such. But make sure you check your state in your local areas to see if there is some sort of registration you need to file for. A lot of times that money goes to the protecting the trails and to trail management, which is really good. So I know in Colorado they do require that, and that sometimes that takes a little while to get that back, or sometimes you have to go to certain places to get that. I know Michigan has some too, Colorado, Utah, which when we went out to Utah, we made sure we got that done. So make sure you look into that, registering for OHV, off highway vehicle registration. Usually you want to make sure you do that. Also, before you go out on those trails, maybe ask the locals, the people that have been going on the trails, because trails can change from year to year and even from month to month on what's going on that trail. Sometimes it might have changed. We noticed that one of the trails we couldn't find, the entrance had been moved. They kind of blocked off where it was and they moved it. So always, be asking your locals on whether or not the trail's open, how it is. I know we resourced Brian and Melissa and asked, hey, we're thinking about going on these trails. What do you think? Can you think that like Mirror Lake, do you think that will be passable for us? Or, because if so, then I definitely don't want to start over there at 10 Cup and then not be able to get across the lake and be able to go on the trail at all. So that's why one of the reasons we started at St. Elmo, because we knew we could go over and always go back if we needed to. So always be asking locals about that. So those have changed. Also, you can hire guides. So there are guides that do that. I know, we've talked about Brian's going to be getting into that and trying to taking groups out and such. So you can always, that's one of the things I do like about the Bronco Nation events and the Bronco Supercell events is you have a group that you can go. So, and that was the thing. The other thing is you should always try to travel with others, and you shouldn't travel alone, especially on trails that you haven't done. We did travel alone, but it was on trails that we'd gone on before.
Right.
What are you laughing at?
And Peugeot.
Uh-oh. Anyway, so it is always good to do that, because if something happens and you go on a more harder trail than what you think you could, because that was really on my mind. I'm like, I don't want to. We were going to go on Napoleon Pass, which we hadn't been on, and I'm like, and there was some difficult section. I said, maybe we shouldn't. And luckily, we missed the trail entrance because it is a trail we hadn't been on, and it is a little harder than Hancock. And I think Hancock might be at our expert level right now, which is a difficult trail. But if you haven't been on one, make sure you take someone along. They can help you get out of a jam. If something happens to one vehicle, then you have the other person to help with. We actually saw a side-by-side on the top of Tin Cup with a flat tire.
Ooh.
Nobody around. So they got a flat tire. They probably rode down with somebody else to go get a spare tire and bring it up because they didn't put a spare tire on it. So anyway, so think about those things. Supplies for the trail. So make sure that before you go that you think about, hey, where are we going to eat on the trail? How long are we going to be on the trail? Plan for a little extra time. But make sure you take the food, the beverages that you need. Make sure you, especially if you go at high altitude, make sure you're drinking plenty of water. You get dehydrated. Make sure you have snacks, lunch figured out and planned. Prepare for all weathers, because
Yes.
in Colorado it might have been nice and sunny down below, because we were like,
Yeah.
we no jackets or anything, but then you get up to the high altitude, you better have a jacket because it's
Right.
cold up there, right? Or if it starts raining, because it did that to us. I mean,
Yes.
some people, I've seen them with the Broncos hard tops. You take off both of those pieces, you take your hard top off, it's beautiful down below, you get up above and it starts raining on you,
Yeah.
right? Cloth top, that's kind of nice. Another reason for the cloth top. Anyway, so think about that. Also prepare recovery. Make sure you have like recovery boards, a winch or tow ropes, or some way to help you get out if you do need to be recovered, that you have that plan for. We have that. We had our recovery boards. We have a winch and that kind of stuff with us. And then don't forget to gas up before you go, right? So make sure you have plenty of gas.
I had told Lebo that we needed to get a satellite phone, but I also heard that even if you're up in the mountains or where you can't have signal, if you use the emergency dialing, your phone can get a signal, an emergency 911 signal out of any place.
I don't know. I know that a lot of those places you can't get any kind of cell
So
service.
if you're going by yourself on a trail that may not be as frequented, maybe a satellite phone would be good to have on hand for an emergency.
Yeah. Also, an air up and air down system. So if you're going to go on some of those trails, you want to air down your tires because you want to widen that tread to go over those rocks. And so a lot of times you want to air down your tires. So I'll be doing a video on an air down and air up and air down system that's fast. It took us 5 minutes to air up all 4 tires.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking less than a minute a tire, but we did all 4 at once. So you'll want to watch that. That video we'll do. I'll have that. I'll try to produce that. So your mom helped me record that. So anyway, so that's, and it's in real time. So you can see how long did it take to air down from 40 pounds to 20, I think 5 or 6 that we aired down to, and then how fast it took to air up, which was 5. That part of the segment's like 8 minutes, but it's because I started it and something I forgot to do which is a reminder. So come up with a good system. Most of your air compressors, you can, whether you go with an onboard or a portable one. I like to go with the portable myself because then I can put it in another vehicle, right? If it's on board, that it's on, I have to drive that Bronco to use that that compressor. Also, we had a single chamber compressor last year. Learn from that. Dual chamber compressor is, I think, at least a must on that. So you want to make sure you're getting that. And then we went with the 4-tire air up and air down system that we saw people use it last year.
Yeah.
And I love it. So I've used it now several times, and it's make things so much faster. All right. Now, talking about when you get on the trail, don't forget about your trail etiquettes. So we're talking about, if you're moving slower, like we move slower, we wanted to make sure we weren't, messing up. There are a lot of people coming up on, especially side by sides. Move over when you find those places where you can move over and let them pass you. Also, if you're approaching vehicles coming down, the vehicles going uphill have the right of way. Usually the ones that are coming down will need to be the one that moves over or back up a little if they need to allow for the one coming uphill to go. Or you just work with each other and say, you know what, come on, I feel more comfortable staying here and having you pass me, which is, for us, that's the way we did it. And also there's signals on the trail. I don't know if you guys knew this. We know this. Mm-hmm. But if you're the lead vehicle or whatever vehicle it is, you basically put up how many people are behind you. Mm-hmm. If there's more than 5, because you only have 5 fingers, then you kind of stop beside that vehicle and say, hey, we had a group of Jeeps. Mm-hmm. They said there's 12 of us. So I'm like, okay, so we knew to count. And then as you get lower, then you see people, hey, whatever they put up, that's how many vehicles are behind them. Yeah. And then when you're done, you do your fists or 0, and that means you're the last vehicle. So that kind of helps being able to do that without having to, talk and all that. But so that's very important to know those signals as well and help people with that. Let's see what else with that. Also, tread lightly. That's a big one. So there were several spots before. One of the things I didn't mention on before you go is don't forget to go to the bathroom before you get on the trail, right? Or otherwise you're using those tree facilities, right? Yes. So there you go. So think about that when you're on the trail. So a lot of these trailheads at the bottom will have some sort of porta potty or something like that. So make sure you hit that before going up so that you don't have to go on the trail as often, right? And that kind of thing. And if you are, plan ahead. If you know that, hey, I'm probably going to end up having to go to the bathroom on the trail, if you need certain things, right, then make sure you bring something to take it back with you. Don't leave it on the trail. I saw that this week several times, and that really angers me because, we're supposed to be leaving it better than what we found it. So,
I mean, when
that's
we
a
were
big one.
in Colorado, we went to the cemetery,
Mm-hmm.
and while we were in the cemetery, we found lots of waste.
Yes.
That people had toilet paper where they had wiped and whatnot, and they had just left it.
Yeah.
I know
You're
it's
supposed to take it back with you. No.
I know it's kind of gross to put it in the bag and take it back with you, but it's better than leaving it there.
Which also brings to mind, don't forget to have your hand sanitizers or whatever you need
Right.
to. We actually keep it in our Bronco all the time. So.
I mean, if you think about it, yes, it's disposable. Yes, it will break down eventually. But when you're in those trees, they may not get full rain underneath the canopy of trees for who knows how long.
Which the ones that we saw there, that's what the case. They were under trees. But still, it's not. No, take it, leave it, right? So also stay on the trails. Stay off the tundra. Let the tundra grow. Stay off of it. Again, you're not supposed to like move things and that kind of stuff. So, leave those on the trail. Also, don't forget about your goat modes and your different things you learn at Bronco Off Rodeo. So those goat modes, one of the things you'll notice is like when we put it in mud ruts and we're in 4 high or whatever, and we're coming down, it wants to, mud ruts will actually try to hold you in that gear as long as it can to try to keep your speed down. So it automatically kind of helps you hold that without having to be in a manual mode. Or when you're coming downhill, use that manual mode. It helps you so that your brakes don't heat up on you. Right. Ours kind of got a little, there was a section where I was having to use my brake a lot, even in the manual one. And so we got down a certain section, we kind of stopped for a little while and let them cool off because they kind of started smelling like they were really getting hot on us. And so you want to make sure you do that. So use those goat modes. Know when to put it in 4 high, 4 low. The rear locker, when you need to engage that. Don't engage that rear locker unless you really need it. Don't forget you don't want to have the rear locker engaged when you're turning for obvious reasons there. And so do that. Also, if there's areas where you need a spotter, trust your spotter. So we did, your mom did a really good job of that. There's a couple spots where I had to get out and do that. And she's not being able to see the rocks under her. She had to trust me in those situations. So trust your spotter because they're just as liable for that, the Bronco as the driver is and getting over those obstacles. So, but I know that's a lot of stuff, but don't forget to enjoy the journey. Take those times. What we liked about going, and sometimes when you go with a big group, like an off rodeo, like, or Bronco Nation does their thing, is they have 20 Broncos to get over this trail. So they got to keep moving. We were able to stop. We stopped, we'd stop and go, oh, wait, get this picture. And we'd stop and take a picture of it because it's beautiful scenery. Or we saw a mine, off the side. So we were able to take some pictures of that and stop and do that. At the top, we were able to take as much time as we wanted until it started raining on us.
Yeah. It's not just don't trust your spotter. Have a trustworthy spotter.
That too. Yes.
Yes. So, yeah. Trust your spotter, but also make sure that you have a spotter that you trust and know is going to help you.
Well, like for us, that's why I spotted and had your mom drive because she wasn't confident that she was going to be a good spotter and such. Right. So she, that worked great for us. So, which she drove most of the way up anyway and barely let me drive the Bronco. Yes. So definitely, like there's a section is like, what do hey, you want to drive so I can get us through this or whatever. So yes, have a good spotter and, you learn more and more by spotting more. So, yes. Don't forget to chat with the community. There's several times where we stopped and chatted with different people. Like people will just stop, like they're passing you and they'll just stop and then just chit chat with you. And it's like really weird because it's like, we're new to this, but the off-road community is a great community and they're all willing to help each other because they all were new at one time.
Right.
And so they're always willing to help others and tell you what's going on. Hey, they got this or that, going on. But it was great at the top of Tin Cup. Those side by sides come up. And it doesn't matter if you're in a Bronco or if you're in a Jeep, you're in a side by side. they're all off-roaders. So
Yeah.
it was so fun to chat with a lot of them, and some have been off-roading for a long time. You saw different ages, people with kids. I mean, we stopped at one point, we were letting some people pass, and then they stopped, and we found out that they originally were from Kansas. And so
Really?
they knew some of the people that your mom knew. It was, we just, while we were waiting there for the rest of their group to catch up, and I just chatted with them for a while, and
Did
it's
they have a
fun.
blonde little boy with them? No, I'm not joking.
They had several kids, but the
Okay.
kids were with them. The kids were having fun. I
Because
mean,
we met a
yes.
family in Buena Vista area where we met. They were from Kansas, and they had a little towhead blonde boy like we did. I'm just saying.
Anyway,
Could have been the same
so
people.
it was fun. When we went through the water and got up there, we pulled off for a little bit to rest a little bit, and we talked to a guy that was from Pitkin, and he had relatives, and he had people that were there that were from Hayes, and so they were there. And actually, we watched a wedding. Somebody proposed to somebody there at Mirror Lake while we were there. So I mean, just enjoy it, have fun, and it's a great community. It's a great thing, and it's a lot of fun. Get into it, find some people, and go with them.
Just make sure
like I said, we went on trails, and you're supposed to go with somebody else. We went alone, but we did trails that we knew of, we knew about, and we were confident we could get through. There were some points in Hancock, I will say, that I'm like, uh-oh. So I'm really glad we didn't do Napoleon, since I hadn't been on that one. Just in case there was something, but we looked, at blues, we on the Fun Tracks book. We said they actually measure it, greens, blue, and red on the trail, so you kind of knew, and maybe some of those areas you can turn around in certain places, and but yeah, have some fun, get out there, enjoy the great outdoors. And that's the thing, finding your lines and everything is fun and challenging, and hey, getting through this obstacle, whatever, but also the scenery you see.
Yeah.
I mean, try to get it. There's only a few places where you can get up to 12,000 feet to see the scenery on a paved road. Sometimes it takes going off-road in an off-road vehicle to get to those views that nobody else can see, or sometimes even the lakes. We were going to go to Grizzly Lake, but we ended up not doing that, not having time. Again, it was a trail we hadn't been on, and there was a tough part in it at the beginning, so we were like, maybe we shouldn't. So, but again, learning, going on these, and so it's fun, and there's a lot of trails, especially down in my Buena Vista, but there's so many in Colorado and Moab, Utah, California has a bunch too. But yeah, get out there and enjoy the great outdoors. But there you go. Hopefully most of you know those tips, but I thought, there's some things that we brought out of this that we used. In trail control, don't forget about trail control. Your mom used it. I think we were coming down from Cumberland Pass, so I drove up to Cumberland Pass. She drove down, and I think she used the trail control on the way down. No, she used it on Tin Cup going up. On Tin Cup, she used it. She set it for about 5 miles an hour, I think, going up Tin Cup, and that kind of helped. So anyway, there you go, Pikes Peak. That is the way to get 14,000 feet.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, any questions about that or any input? Anything we need to highlight? How far is Nebraska Zoo from Salina?
I got it.
I don't know. Okay.
It's about 3 hours and 40 minutes.
Yep. All right. All right. Anything else in there? Any questions? Actually.
Let's see. Do you think the Bronco Sport will get revealed on August 1st?
No. I don't. I've been told that there's going to be a Bronco Sport reveal, and probably the order banks open up the same day like the Maverick. So
yeah. Is it true that Michelin Cross Climate 2 is not available on the 18-inch rims on the Maverick Lair yet?
I don't know. Oh, he did that for Niles. I don't know if Niles is
Well,
there.
and Niles said he would have to check with us.
Oh, I don't know.
Did you take your camper
So-
off-roading?
A lot of times on those tires, you don't get to choose what tires go on.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They tell whatever's available. We, if you want to count dirt road, went to the farm. We stayed the night at the farm. Well, you know,
Yeah.
Lee and Cindy now their places. So we actually went on a dirt road with it, but we didn't. We camped down in Buena Vista, and then so we didn't want to. We kind of need like facilities. Like we want to have somewhere to go. Like our camper doesn't have a bathroom in it or shower, and we like to do that, shower and hit the bathroom. And so we like to have something like that. So we did not take it off road. So
All right. Do we know if the 25 Bronco reveal date?
I don't for sure. I heard mid-August is possibly, but I don't know. I'm trying to get an invite to that. I don't know if they're going to do a media event or not. I just know I've been told they're going to reveal it in the Bronco. And I assume the order banks will open up at the same time like they're doing with the Maverick. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
What is the largest tire size for a stock Maverick trimmer?
I don't know. That you can put on it? I think a 29. Well, we put 31s on one that we lifted, but a stock probably the 29s. I don't know what size they are on the trimmer now. They're the Wild Peak.
Right. I do not have any other questions. Anyone have questions?
I think we barely fit in some 31s, and I know that Derek was putting some tires on a Bronco Sport, again similar to the Maverick, and I think 29s was about as big as they went without some rubbing. So I'd probably stick to that size, saying 29.
Any word on when we'll have 25 Maverick information? August 1st.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. So
Yep. Why does it seem that Ford suddenly hates blue? Each model seems to be getting bland.
Yeah. 25 Super Duty, hopefully September. We don't know on Super Duty yet, but we know that they started production November 1 last year. So if we go back 3 months, sometime in September. Oh wait, that'd be actually August. So we'll see. Maybe it's August. Again, all of them are going to be boom, boom, back to back to back.
Now you have a Bronco to tow with, and your towing capacity is 2,000 or 4,000?
3,500 on the Bronco.
Okay.
Doesn't matter what engine it has.
Yeah.
So
said a good smallest trailer is the Sunset RV Sunlight, has shower and bath.
I actually looked at that one. So I thought if we wanted a shower and bath, that was a good one. I did look at that one. That is, you're right. But like I said, your mom didn't want a bathroom in it. Smells.
Yeah.
She has a good nose. So that, so yeah, but that's a pretty good one. I think Sunray makes one with the bathroom, but not a shower. I don't know. Anyway. Technically, ours has a shower in it. So in the back, when you open up, it has the galley. You open up, and it has a curtain you can put around it for privacy. And then we have a hose, a sink in the back. So then you can run. They have one that you get.
Oh, yeah.
It goes and it has a shower head. So technically, you can shower at the back, but then you're getting your kitchen. In my opinion, your kitchen floor wet. Because if you had a tarp that you put down, you could do that and then
run the water off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you answered this already. Did all of your Maverick allocations get scheduled? We have 32 left.
We have 38. I think.
38 left.
So we had 62 retail orders last week. All 62 of those got scheduled. Every single one of our Mavericks got scheduled. And so now we have 38 allocations left. And we're only having 2 orders being previewed this week. So it should go to stock. And I was afraid that the rest of our stocks would get scheduled. But I will tell you, basically, because we wanted to order and have a bunch of stock XL EcoBoost, the very cheapest, because we have people that come in locally to the dealership that they're wanting a new vehicle, but they don't want to spend a lot of money. They want to keep their payment down. So we're trying to find the cheapest option for them. And a lot of people look at the Maverick and go, oh, that is perfect. I can go with that. And so they look at what's available. Well, XL EcoBoost is $25,500. We kind of talked about this here. So we actually have a bunch of stock XL EcoBoosts in our order bank. But guess what? None of them are previewing, because I really feel like they've already fulfilled about all the XLs they're going to schedule this month for all dealers. So I think unless we have, we don't have any Lariats in our order bank right now, and or XL, only a couple XLTs, and they're not previewing either. So again, because those XLTs come with the standard wheel, they're not previewing. We talked about this in the scheduling notes. We're not going to probably have but two of our allocations being used this week, because it's not because of the constraint items. So that affects, and again, this is information for dealers to help fulfill your allocations for those stock orders. And so it basically tells them, hey, right now here's the limit availability. And they mentioned the hybrid. So they're looking for EcoBoost orders for stock, right? And so then they're also saying exhaust available is the XL. And then they're talking about some other things. So they said in there, required orders, they need XLTs with the standard 2.0 all-wheel drive, and they want the optional wheel because the other wheel is kind of backed up, and then aggressive tire. So right now what they want dealers to order is XLT all-wheel drive with the more aggressive tire and the different wheel option. That's not what orders we have in there, so they're not previewing at all. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, Lariats with the standard Eco all-wheel drive too. So again, we'll probably, some of our allocations will carry over to next week. And so that's what I'm saying. If you want to put in an order, I can guarantee you, I could probably get it scheduled, because the one that is scheduling is the retail order that got put in after we got scheduling last week. So I think it was put in over the weekend. So that one's previewing. I think about any retail order we have, we'll probably preview in the schedule. So put in that retail order.
Yep.
So
I have two. Do you install catback systems at the dealership?
I think we can. I don't know. I know that we've had some of our Roushes with those on them, but they come from Roush that way. But that'd be a great question for Niles or Blake. I don't know.
Yep.
But I assume so.
Yeah.
They put my Roush exhaust on, but I don't think that's a catback exhaust on it.
Moon Doggy said, do we really need the 5 same colors on every vehicle? From a dealer's point of view, it makes it easy when looking at the vehicles. You can go, oh yeah, that comes in this, 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 and this. When you start having, this one has 10 colors, this one has 8, this one has 6, you start to get confused on what colors are on which vehicles. And
yeah,
it also is cheaper for Ford to bulk buy their paint. I'm sure.
Sure, yeah. I mean, usually what you'll see is like certain plants will have certain colors. So like F-150s built at 2 different plants. Well, for a while, you could only get one color at one plant, and that color wasn't available at the other plant. But if that's the plant, like I remember somebody contacted me and said, well, I want an Lariat in race red with a 5.0, or it was a certain engine. Well, they didn't make that engine combination and trim level in Kansas City, which is where race red was available.
Right.
So that configuration wasn't available. So like the antimatter blue on the F-150 is really weird. It's available in XL and STX, not available like an XLT. And then it's available on like the upper trims, like platinum and such. And that's probably because that color isn't available at that other plant that makes those other trim levels. Right. So really, really weird. But yeah, anyway.
Right. Mama Betic picked a car based solely on the color. Yes. Women will tend to do that. They will solely pick a vehicle based on the color.
Your mom did that, kind of. We got that Lincoln is in that brown,
Kodiak brown.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I go with anything blue.
I'm like that. I think the Area 51 on the F-150 looks really weird to me.
Yes. Right. So some colors look weird on some things. I think Cyber Orange looks great on the Maverick, but not as great on the Bronco. Vice versa for the hot pepper. Or, well, no, I guess hot pepper red looks great on anything.
Well, now, the first year that came out was in a Ranger several years ago.
Yes.
And boy, we got like one of those in and could not sell that thing. It just looked, it looked terrible. Nobody really liked it. But now people like it.
Right. See, and Ragnarcon says, I mean, to be fair, sometimes dealers get stuck with a goofy color and it's hard to sell. The 50 Shades of Grey are easy peasy to sell.
Well, we have an owner that likes us to buy white F-150s.
Yes.
He goes, I'll always sell. You won't get stuck with them. So,
although I never want a white vehicle, they get dirty quickly.
Yeah.
So do black.
But on farms, a lot of people will go with whiter or the tan colors. Right?
Yeah. If I'm ordering an off-road Maverick, I go with that Dune.
I tell you that terrain color.
Terrain, yes, the terrain.
That's pretty good.
That's gonna hide that dirt easy.
Well, we got a Bronco Sport. Like right now, our inventory is mainly Heritage Editions,
Yes.
Several different colors. But we got that big bin in terrain with the black diamond package, sold like that.
Yeah.
Guess what? We got another one in. We just got one in, got pictured today, so we'll see how fast it sells. But plus, I think the fact too that they're big bins and they're not Heritage Editions. That's when your town's overrun with Heritage Editions, you want something a little different. So lately we found when we get an Outer Banks in or a big bin, it's selling pretty quick because it's different than the other ones that we have in.
Yeah.
So keeping a variety is a good idea, and variety of colors as well. But so like I will say this, the Everglades and the Eruption Green are our top seller out on our lot. So when we get an Everglades and an Eruption Green, it goes.
We got a Jeep in, and I almost bought it just because it's a teal. Did you see that one? It's a nice sparkly teal, and I'm like, this is what I need. I need that teal. It's so pretty. I almost looked up the price right then and there.
I don't know. I drove a Jeep home once and turned around halfway home. I was just going to drive it for the night. And I'm like, nope. I didn't like how it drove on the road. I took it back. Anyway.
Most likely, if I get a nice vehicle like a Bronco, either it's going to be a Heritage in the Robin's Egg, or I'm going to get a wrap done on it.
Well, we talked to a guy at actually St. Elmo. They had gone over, I think they went over 10 Cut Pass. Anyway, they were going to go back, Hancock or something. And he actually has a Jeep. He said, I got a used Jeep, a couple years old. And they have a house there by Tin Cup. And that it's vacation home or whatever. And so they're from Texas. And he said, man, that's a rough ride up from Texas in that thing. He said, but they do great off road, but man, it's a rough ride on the road. So,
yep.
So, tell you what, 4xe, way to go. Kind of hoping that the Bronco does come out in a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid version. Plug-in hybrid is what I really would like to see, because that would be something. I mean, there's a lot of times we drove, up there and we didn't we didn't drive 20 miles on those. You can go completely and all electric on the mountains,
right,
on the trail, or better yet, how great fuel economy that those vehicles get. To have a plug-in version, you can go all electric commuting, right?
But then, yeah.
And it's going to get a little bit even better fuel economy, even if you're in a hybrid mode, which, if you put it in that mode, then it's going to get you better than 16 miles a gallon. It's going to be at least in the 20s, right?
Yeah.
We'll see. Hopefully I'd love to see a plug-in, but also for some reason, Ford is not making many plug-ins. It's really disappointing. So I don't know if they just can't produce that many plugins, and that's and low numbers, and hybrid might be easier for them. So hopefully, I mean, if so, either way, I mean, hybrid would be at least better. So
yeah,
like you said, there's a 2.3 on a hybrid.
There is interest in electric vehicles. California, the coasts where there's a lot of infrastructure is really popular, but it's getting a little bit more popular
I think that the
mainland.
more people that are buying it, the more educated we're getting. Kind of like I
Yeah.
talked about. I could have, on the way back from Colorado,
Yeah. I think
the time we stopped, it wouldn't have been any.
I
If
know.
there's an electric vehicle, like I told your mom, I'm like, we stopped for food in Colorado Springs. I could have
Yes.
easily in those 30 minutes charged up the vehicle,
Hmm.
and then we went to Lyman, which you could
Yeah.
get from Colorado Springs to Lyman.
Hmm.
We shopped at the little store there. We were in there 30 minutes. It
Yeah.
would have charged, and then we stopped in Colby.
Yeah.
And guess what? We ate. And guess what? I could have charged. So I could have easily made that same trip with an EV for the same time that
Right.
it took us in
Well,
the
even
Bronco.
with us, we packed a lunch, so probably wouldn't have taken us that long to eat on our trip, but we had to stop to let our dogs out, and we stopped to let the kids stretch their legs, run and play on the playground. Well, guess what? By most of the playgrounds at those rest stops, they have chargers. They know
Yeah.
what they're doing.
It's getting better. And by the way, I'm getting a Tesla adapter
Yes.
that I can help review. I'm going to be reviewing. So they're
Mhm.
supposed to be shipping that to me so I can review that with my electric
Yeah.
vehicle.
I
So
think if more people could take an electric vehicle home for a weekend and really try it out, I think they would feel more comfortable with it and be more geared
yeah,
towards it.
one of the things is that sometimes there is a frustration at some of the chargers, and I get that. So there is a lot of education that needs to be done.
Well, and
But
I mean, the chargers themselves have caused some frustration, even for us, where we
Mhm.
get to chargers and none of them are working. Or, most of them aren't working, but you have one that is and it's taken. So, I mean, there's some learning, there's some things that need to be done.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I mean, a lot of our people here that weren't too keen on electric drove one for the weekend, and now most of them that took one for the weekend drive one
Yeah.
themselves. So
Yeah. Um, yeah. I'd love to see that. Think about that. If I could have 120 volt, then I could power my AC and microwave on the camper and going off grid.
yeah,
I like that idea. I like your thinking there.
yep,
Because like our camper, we had the batteries and the solar on it. So that runs off 12 volts. So the lights, all that stuff, the fans, that stuff can run. The refrigerator can even run, but the air conditioning and the microwave cannot run unless it's on. We're plugged in somewhere. So having a Bronco, they could get 120 volt, 30 amp, kind of like like the Pro Power on board. That would be great. Even because then that way you could do that. You could plug that into the camper and you could run your AC and all that on it. I like that.
yeah. Data bags, right? Shopping malls need
And
EV chargers.
in a hybrid, because we've had some people that said that they'll actually run their vehicle, they'll leave it on overnight, they'll sleep in their vehicle,
Yes.
and the AC will kick on every so often. But the vehicle doesn't, only starts up when it needs it.
Unless you're in Colorado, then you just roll the windows down.
We actually opened it up. We actually got a little cold, so we run the heater, and we hadn't run the heater yet, so it had this stuff that came off of it. So we had to open the windows because the little smoke alarm thing went off. So we had to open up the windows, but that's just something that because we don't use the heater
Mm-hmm.
because we're usually using it in the summertime. So,
Yeah.
but it got a little cool overnight.
Yeah. Did you know at Legends, the only chargers I know about there are at Target?
Hmm.
So if you go to Legends, I mean, it would be smart to put in the charger over by the Legends shopping area.
Mm-hmm. 24/7 is pretty much putting in chargers.
Yes.
So it's now you don't necessarily have to use the Tesla chargers. But now once they can get those adapters out, like I signed up for mine. Well, Jeff, the first day you could sign up for because he had a mach-e, and so if you had a mach-e, you could sign up for the adapter, the free adapter for customers. He signed up the first morning. Remember they announced it that morning. We came in 10 a.m. He went ahead and signed up for that. He still has yet to receive his. So that's why I'm trying to work with this Electron to get the adapter so that I can test it out on the Tesla chargers and seeing how this is going to open things up for people and how easy and how well it works. So they're going to send that so that I can do a video for them and post that out there. But anyway, we've been getting sidetracked off of that. But I think we'd like to see more electrified vehicles. And like I said, electrified vehicles doesn't mean full electric.
Right.
What I like about Ford is options. But what I like to see, one option they seem to be doing more is hybrid more and more. But I'd like to see the plug-in as well. The plug-in to me is just a no-brainer. So anyway. So yeah, there's a hybrid Ranger, or is it a plug-in? I think it's a plug-in hybrid Ranger, right, in Europe. And so we saw the Raptor. It took a year before the Raptor and the 24 Ranger to come to us.
Yeah.
So like a lot of people thought when they saw all the reveal on the Ranger in Europe and Australia on 23, that's when we were getting the Ranger. I'm like, no, if you read it, it was a year behind. So Ranger for some reason starts in Europe and then it comes over.
Well, Europe's looking for the smaller vehicle. They're also looking for...
That's their truck for Ford.
Yes. That's their F-150.
Yes. They don't have F-150 in
No,
Europe.
their streets are too small for full-size trucks. So Ranger is as big as you're going to see for the most part, besides your delivery commercial vehicles. Even those are small. But they're also trying to get electrified by a certain point, a lot sooner than America. So yeah, they do have different technology, different things going on over there because they're being required to.
Yeah, and it depends on, again, full EV is not for everybody.
No.
Like for me, it works for me. So we have the Expedition when we take trips, or the Bronco if we vacation, we're going off-roading. We're gonna do an off-road trip. We take the Bronco. We're not gonna take the electric vehicle, but that's gonna be my daily commute. And I use no fuel. I love how they drive, but also, I mean, I can lease it cheaper than I can about any car that I've had in a long time.
What's your mach-e?
My mach-e lease is almost as cheap as my Fusion lease was back in 2019.
Yeah. You've got it down.
The one that you're driving now.
Right.
I leased that for just a little less than I am in the mach-e right now.
Right.
And it was half the price.
Wow.
So, because they want to get people in these EVs to drive them and to get the
word out, get
more people driving it.
Yeah. Plug-in hybrid, I feel, is the next step, though. It's the nice in between. We have farmers. They can use the gas when they're driving to and from town, but then they can plug in at home, go all EV for a little bit, and then go back to gas when they need to. Plug-in hybrid for me makes sense. I go to and from work. I can go all EV, plug in at night, and I'm fine the next day, or even every 2 nights, depending on how far around town I drive. Yep. Some people, it doesn't make sense, but for a lot of people, it could make a lot of sense and help with fuel economy and gas prices and everything else.
Yep. Anyway, so we're going to see that. I mean, Ford said that every one of their models will have a plug-in or a electrified version. And again, we say electrified, it can be hybrid or plug-in hybrid or full EV. So like what I was saying on that, I think some people had said that there was going to be an EV, a full electric Super Duty. That is not what they said. They said an electrified or energy, right? An energy source. I believe it means hybrid. So
here's my thing with the Transit Connect. I do not like the engine. I drove one for 3 years on a lease. I did not like that engine. Now, if they added a different engine in for the plug-in hybrid and made it that way, I might consider again. But for one, it's a wind sail. So when you're on the highway, you feel like you're blowing all over the place.
Yeah.
In the winter, when you're taking corners, even if you aren't going slow, you feel like you're going to slip all over the place and fall over. Better tires could do something better there. But other than that, when you're stopping, if you're coming to a gradual stop and not just halt, it stutters on you. It's like a stutter step to a finish. I don't like it.
He was talking about that. That's what he said.
Yeah. So if we had a different motor in it, I'd be all for it. I do like it. It is a nice van. I mean, I'm a mom. I did like my van. I just didn't like the motor, and I didn't like how wind sailing. How I went wind sailing every time I was on the highway.
When you're going to Baja 1000 mach-e rally.
Hey,
I think that's too hilly for the mach-e rally, but
I've told him I want to take it to Rebel Rally.
Well, Well, they did a mach-e and Rebel Rally. That's a little different. It's not like it's bumpy and hilly, like, being able to go like up the roads we did. I mean, you have to have the clearance and all that, but dirt roads, that kind of stuff, sand, that kind of stuff. And as heavy as it was, I don't think the mach-e Rally got stuck that much.
No.
At the Rebel Rally.
The mach-e did pretty well.
Anyway.
I'm just saying, I'm ready to go to Rally and let's go.
I don't think they're going to do a plug-in Maverick. That's just my gut. I think, I know that they've been testing it, but I guess as good a fuel economy as that gets with the hybrid, when you can go 500-600 miles on a tank in the hybrid version, they can focus in on getting the plug-in and the hybrid and other vehicles instead and say, okay, this is good. What they need is the all-wheel drive version of that, right, guys? Everybody wants that, but I don't know. It's just, I guess we'll find out in a week. A week and 2 days. Or we'll find out in a couple days.
I was waiting for you to say something about that.
Well, a couple days. Can't say anything. So
lips will be sealed. Can't say anything to anyone here. Yep. Oh, that'll be hard.
All right. Well, it's 9:30. We gotta get going tomorrow morning. Not too early though, so that's good. But
still.
All right.
It's the final countdown.
One of the things you look at so the Escape is our only plug-in, and those don't sell quite as well as I thought they would.
I'm having a feeling instead of our live stream next Tuesday, because it's going to be really hard not to say anything when we know things. We do the live stream on the 1st on Thursday
at 6 a.m.
I will be here if you'll be here. We might be rough, but we'll be here.
Yeah, depending. I'm really seriously thinking about on August 1st doing a live stream going over the order guide and configuration.
Yeah.
Instead of doing it normally I do one trim level and go over that. I'm really thinking about doing a live stream, and then we can still cut it up into those separate videos if we do it live. Because to be honest, when I record those videos that you guys see, I really do those in one take.
Yes.
I usually don't even stop. Sometimes you might see where there's a break, and sometimes I'll stop because of the distraction around, but I got an on-air sign, so they will know they all need to just be quiet around here so that I can do videos. So we actually might do a live stream because I feel that I could probably do that well. Mm-hmm. But usually what I got to do is do my notes. So if I do a live stream that day, it'll probably be later in the afternoon when I did it. So that way I'd have that morning to go through things and get my notes together. Because I usually do I have a system. But again, because you guys like I like to do is cover everything that's standard and such. So, but we might have to break that up, do it a little differently. I know some people will take, okay, when you go up to XLT, now you get this much over the XL. So I might have to do those videos that way. But I don't know. Mm-hmm. We'll see. So anyway, or what I could do is just not go over I could cover one that just goes over the standard equipment. Yeah. And then go over a certain trim level and go over the packages in each of the different levels. I don't know. We'll think about it. We'll talk about it. Maybe I'll do a live stream and still do the other videos, but we'll see.
Yeah. They're saying postpone Maverick Monday in favor of the 25 special episode.
I might. Yeah, Maverick Thursday.
It's going to be hard.
We'll see. I don't know if it's going to be that hard.
No, we'll just be giving each other looks like, the entire night.
Yep.
Just wait.
All right. So.
Not talk about future product.
Yeah. Because really, to be honest, yeah. Maverick Monday, we could really I don't really have a lot right now, but it might be more of be looking just to kind of tell people, be looking for, stuff coming out on Thursday.
When are you coming out, Will.i.am? He says he's coming to Salina to buy his 350.
Wow. We have a bunch of Super Duties. Well, we got 80 in stock, I think, right now.
But
we had somebody emailed me and said that they wanted to order a Super Duty. I says, you might look at what we have in stock, because we have a lot of different varieties that might work for you, and you'd get a significant discount. I think we have some of those STX package Super Duties that are $7,500 off. Right? You repriced today, right? Did you get that done?
I'll do it.
All right. Okay. Anyway, there you go. All right. Well, I think that's it. Unless you got anything else. Anybody got anything else?
All right.
F350 STX or Tremor. Ooh, we got some of those.
Both of them.
STX I think is a pretty good deal. You can't get, the only thing is on an STX XL you cannot order the 7.3 liter. So that's the drawback there. So
Yep. All right. We need to get headed out tomorrow morning. I need to go home and pack, get a couple things done, clean my dishes. Probably won't be in bed. Anyways.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for joining us. A lot of questions and everything else, so appreciate it. And so we're gonna head out, and yeah, we'll see you guys next week, or if you're a member, we'll see you Friday. Talk to you Friday, and we will not be sharing any information to our members. If you're a member on Friday about Maverick,
we just can't risk it getting out.
Yeah, we'll be embargoed till August 1st. So, but anyway, but join us anyway. We'll find something to talk about, right? Maybe. Anyway. All right.
Maybe Wednesday night dinner.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. Hope you guys have a great week. And yeah, I think that's all we have. So stay positive, be kind to one another,
and be kind to yourself.
We'll see you later.